Hey everybody and welcome back. Guess what? We're not dead. Oh my god, it is the Addicted to Loot podcast. We're still living. Haha, we're back from the dead. It is episode 54 after 2 long weeks. Everything is changing. Oh my god. Well, thank you, one and all. Yes. I'm changing it up. I'm actually going with Shepard. Mr. and Mrs. Whatever. I think so. I know a lot of sports games now are just, they have like 500 pages of different words that they've pre-recorded. You can actually just type in your own name. Boards. And everyone in the grandmother's name. We're back. We're alive. We're still a thing after 2 long weeks. Thank you for everyone who's still out there who has joined us back, even after this long, quiet time. But for those who are new, potentially, we are Addicted to Loot. We are a upbeat gaming podcast, Twitch streamings, and YouTube videos, all about the love of PC gaming and the addiction of loot. The giant gaming conglomerate that is Addicted to Loot. Addicted to Loot snack. With like a little voiceover, like fine print, the guy who talks really super quickly right at the very end, like the last 3 seconds. But thank you one and all. We have a very, very, very large agenda for today. As you can see, we're actually at the very first time ever in the Addicted to Loot podcast, episode 54. We actually have 3 columns in our overlay here for our news section, which is all the way over here, which is incredible. But also, oh my god, it's the end of the, anyway. But also, we have to introduce ourselves. He's actually Tom, aka Tomality, and I'm your other host, Brian, aka Atomic Zero. And together, with our powers combined, no. But so yeah, no, wait, there it is. Meh. Snap. Form of. Okay. Well, the biggest thing going on right now that I've actually been loving so far has actually been the Destiny 2 beta is well underway for all those. I know, I feel like this has been one of those things, just like Star Citizen, anything Mass Effect. We talk about it for so long that by the time it actually happens, I feel like it's just like, oh yeah, it's a thing now. Isn't that strange? Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Might as well go outside and stare at grass. Like I feel like the exciting part about games now is just the hype leading up to it. And once it gets there, it's like, yep, I'm done. It's just like this. That is very true. But anyway, Destiny 2 is well underway. Those who actually pre-purchased and had the beta key could preload it on Sunday, which I did. And it actually was released yesterday, I think at like 10 a.m. PST or 1 p.m. EST. I forget exactly what it was. But it released yesterday. And PC gamers all across the world rejoiced as they've been slowly playing into the Destiny 2 beta. Now, for all those who don't know, it is an officially open beta, so if you have a PC and you do actually want to play Destiny 2, you can go on, download it, and play it right frickin' now. Mm. Oh, no, definitely. But it is definitely worth the wait. So what you get with the beta, for all those who might not know, you get the very first opening mission, which is the very first story mission, which would be like when you hit start, the actual first mission, which has changed since the original trailer of the first mission a while ago. I guess back when Destiny 2 was first announced, they showed actual live gameplay footage of the very first episode. There are some minor differences with it, so keep that in mind. So it is definitely evolving as it goes with time. You get that. You get one strike mission. For those who don't know, a strike mission are kind of like, it's a playlist of missions that you can do at endgame or anywhere in between. You can just say, I'm in my strike playlist, just take me through it, and you'll just constantly get looped, just like Pandora or anything else. You'll just get looped into different missions. You'll play mission A, you'll do it with randomly selected people, you complete it, you automatically go into another waitlist for mission B, so on and so on and so forth, and you can do it as long as you want until you elect out of it. You get one actual strike mission, I think it's called oh my god, it's like the something tower. I'm a terrible podcaster. But yeah, that's the inverted spire. Haha. So, it's something. It's underground. It makes sense. So you get one strike mission, and then you get 2 crucible matches. I think one's a team deathmatch, and one's just a death match. So, those are the 4 things you get to do as part of this beta. There's no more, no less. You can try out all 3 classes. You can try out all the subclasses for those 3 classes. There's 2 for each. I don't know if that's actually how the end game's going to work, or that actually the finish game is going to work, because in the previous version in Destiny 1, it actually ended up being 3 subclasses. I don't know if this is actually going to be 3 subclasses as well, but we'll find out. So you can play all 3 different classes. You can play all 3 different classes through all 4 of those different missions. You get a level 20 character with purple loot and all purple weapons. You get, depending on... No. Appearance-wise, you can't. The only thing you can really customize, you do get loot. You can still get loot. None of it actually changes anything performance-wise. You can just get visual-based loot, like I did when I did the strike mission. I got a purple helmet that just looks different. The exact same stats, just looks different. I'm assuming that's what it's going to be for the entire length of this beta. You can just grind out. Exactly. I'm not sure if they will. Like I said, there's not much to this one, but maybe they will. So you can get... Exactly. So you can get visual upgrades in that sense, but each class comes with 3 or 4 different weapons. As part of this first mission, you get another weapon. You get a gold weapon. Tom, you have no sound, apparently. I'm getting sound from him. Oh, yeah, you're right. You do not have sound. Which is... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Try talking now.
Blah, 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 blah.
It's because my headphones.
What?
I switched out my audio playback device. I didn't update OBS.
Ah!
Well, we've only lost about 10 minutes of audio from your end. So,
no worries. No worries. No biggie.
This might be
Shall we carry on?
This might be a little bit interesting of a podcast intro, considering it's going to be me with a one-sided conversation.
Do you want to start over? Do you want to do a do-over? Just jump right back into it?
They got almost everything
Hello,
else.
hi, welcome. Is it
I-
working now?
Yeah, it sounds like it well through my OBS. It is anyway. I'm assuming it is. Ocean, Florida. Can you hear Tom now? Is it good? Is it grand? Is it awesome?
La 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 la. Me.
It's a good catch on their end because I never would have known. And unfortunately, we don't
Yeah.
record these anymore, so we don't have backup audios. Okay, great.
Yay!
Awesome.
Okay,
Perfect.
let's just do a quick do-over. Let's just start right in. So, audio listeners will have a nice, fresh, complete, flawless experience. And we've only lost 10 minutes of stream, so that's fine. That's cool. All right, hello. Take two. Again.
You want me to do the whole lead in again and like do the whole thing over?
Yeah, just jump right in. Just jump right in. Lead in.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Addicted to Loot. Guess what? We are not dead. It is episode 54, and this is take 2 because we have technical difficulties, and, well, this is the result of it. So, we do not know exactly what we said before or what we're going to say in the future, but we know for anyway, at least the people
Doesn't
who
matter
joining
what I
us
said,
in the live
'cause
stream,
apparently
they
I
know
was
we'll get
muted.
this for the
Thank you,
second
Ocean
time.
Floor in chat.
We hope
Thank
we
you,
don't
Ocean
bore
Floor
you.
in chat for
Yeah.
letting us know that I was apparently muted for the first 10 minutes of our stream here.
Which might be very
So-
entertaining audio, but
Yes, but okay, we're starting fresh. Hello, hi, we're back
Back.
after a 2-week hiatus
Yes.
where Brian went and got married.
I did a thing.
That happened. Congratulations.
Hey.
Mr. Brian now.
That's Mr. Dr. Patrick.
Mr. Brian. But yes, we're back, and we're here to talk about a crap ton of video games and video
So
game
many
news
things,
that happened
all
over
the
the
different
past
things.
2 weeks. Thank you
Sure.
guys for continuing to support the thing that this is. What is this thing, Brian? What are we?
We are Addicted to
What
Loot.
the
We
hell
are
is
a
this?
PC gaming entertainment conglomerate that features a weekly podcast, Twitch streams, and YouTube videos, as well as a website, which is addictedtoloot.com. We are your two...
And at least one Twitter account that's just a bunch of shit.
Basically. We are your two co-hosts, your two co-loot addicts, Tom, a.k.a. Tomality, and Brian, a.k.a. Tom
That's
Zero. And welcome back,
That's
one
it.
and all. If you're new, welcome for the very first time. Join the addiction. If you are old, well, it's about damn time you got back. So...
If
No, we
you're
actually-
old, what's it like in the nursing home?
No, but we actually love you guys. Thank you so very much. So we'll just jump back into it so we don't completely bore out our live listeners who might have heard the first 10 minutes of this already. But Destiny 2, the beta is well underway for PC, and it started as of yesterday. The open beta starts today, that is Tuesday the 29th. The closed beta, meaning if you pre-purchase, you got 1 extra day of beta, started August 28th, Monday, August 28th. Now,
Just a quick PSA before we get into this. Brian had pre-ordered it, so he has played it.
I have played it,
haven't
yes.
yet. The game is still installing for me. So.
yes, so I have actually played it. So what do you get in this beta? You get the 3 classes. You get 2 subclasses for each one of those classes. You get a few options for all 3 weapon slots. That means your 2 regular weapon slots and your heavy weapon slot or your special weapon slot. You get all purple armor. You start out at level 20. You can get additional appearance items throughout doing the Strike Zone missions. You get the very first story mission, you get a strike mission, and you get 2 Crucible matches. So the Crucibles are basically PvP matches. One is free-for-all, one is team deathmatch. The strike mission is basically a simulated mission that's kind of sort of like endgame. It's, if you think about a World of Warcraft instance, or any endgame raid or dungeon that you can do, it's kind of similar to that. You can play the mission over and over and over again with randomly selected people to try to get loot. So, and that's basically what it is.
That's our jam. That's our shit.
That's Destiny 2. No. So, Destiny 2. Now, I guess going into my impressions of it, which is probably the next logical way of going into this. I actually played Destiny 1 for all those who have been listening to this podcast or have listened to me or Tom at all for the last little while. Know that I had Destiny 1. I really enjoyed Destiny 1. My main issue with Destiny 1 was A, it was on console, and B, that the end game really wasn't all that exciting. The problem with Destiny was that the end game did not reward its players. I mean, they put out a good game. It's just that they just didn't know how to handle and how to actually formulate a good
Now
end game
what?
for an open world FPS MMO. Or for open world MMO FPS? MMO FPS.
Yeah, I think that's the correct one.
I think that's the correct acronym the kids are using nowadays. So
MMOMG.
Oh god. So Destiny 2. So like I said, I've done the story mission for both the Titan class, which is my original class from Destiny 1, is the only class I played in Destiny 1. Titans are basically your tanks. They are your, Destiny is set up like any dungeon crawling RPG where you only have 3 races. You have the wizard race, the ranger race, and the warrior race, and that's what Destiny has. Titans are your warrior, hunters are your DPS class, meaning you're ranged, basically your archers, and then the void walkers or the warlocks are your wizard class, basically. So I played my Titan, which is what I'm going to be playing regardless when this finally does hit, when this finally does get fully released. But I also played the warlock just to get a feel for it. I'm also going to do the hunter to get a feel for it anyway. At least the starting mission.
Is this the type of game where you would have alts?
Most people do, especially people that got to the end game. It's like, what else are you going to do? You might as well start a different character. Now, for raiding and things like that, you could potentially have, you could build a Titan as DPS. You could build a Titan as, team support tank. You can build a Warlock as a healer. You can build a Warlock as a DPS. Hunters are just straight DPS. So you can kind of see a need for alts, but depending, you could always have your alternate subclass in Destiny. At least in Destiny 1, not sure how Destiny 2 is going to do it. Basically, you could switch between the 2 subclasses, then each subclass has its own individual level. So you leveled up each subclass as you played each subclass. So as you leveled them up, you got different abilities, different unlocks, different perks that you can get for both of them. Sure. So you can have a very strong tank class, but a very poor DPS class for the Titan or anything else like that. So I'm not sure if they're going to use the same thing. In the beta, both subclasses are completely and utterly unlocked. So you have 2 subclasses that you can completely customize and try out. I'm not sure how it's going to be in the final thing. So I know a lot of people had alts just because they hit endgame and they needed something to do, so they made an alt, that kind of thing. For me, personally, I only had my Titan in Destiny 1. That's going to be my plan, at least initially, in Destiny 2, and we'll see. So I did the story mission and the strike mission with my Titan. I did the story mission with the Warlock. I'm going to do the story mission again with the Hunter, but I'll probably stick with the Titan just to do everything else.
Oh, so you can do the story mission with a new character.
Every time you switch a character, it starts out with the story mission.
Okay, I didn't know, because I read that it was like a once through thing, and I thought, oh shoot, you do it and then it's done, but okay.
It's a 1 through thing per character. So you can do it 3 times, technically speaking, I guess. So,
and I guess if you wanted to fudge it, you could nuke a character and redo it.
Probably. I'm assuming you could.
Probably.
Guessing. Yeah. Sure, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I'm such a victim of doing the tutorial level of a game 5 times because it's just it's not quite right. I got to change this. I got to change that.
I'm going back to what I sent you earlier today because that's I put it so perfectly. I'm sitting there going, wait, no, where the hell?
Yeah. I asked Brian, so what do you think? And I got this thing back that was this professional review.
So this is my personal review or feedback or impressions of this game as of now. So the story mission is incredible. The story mission is perfect. I think the story mission is amazing. Destiny 1 got their story missions right by the 3rd or 4th expansion, The Taken King. They had amazing story missions. The very first vanilla game, or the base game, and the first couple expansions were kind of okay. Taken King was really good. This one starts out on a very high note. This first story mission is really, really great. It goes back to, the better levels of, Halos and stuff like that. I mean, it is probably even better than that. It's extremely cinematic. There's a lot riding on it. There's a lot happening to it. There's a lot in stake. There, action, drama, the whole thing. It's it's just an amazing level overall.
Well scripted.
Yeah, exactly. It's also it's challenging yet instructive. I mean, it's a great tutorial. It gets through everything. You can actually feel the desperation of the time and everything else like that.
Right. It's no secret that the premise is disaster strikes.
Yeah, the premise of Destiny 2...
That's not a spoiler. That's in the promotional material
So Destiny 2, the premise of Destiny 2 is that, in Destiny 1, the human race has been basically confined down to one sanctuary on Earth, It's a walled city, and that's it. Everything else is overrun.
And there's
by...
a big ball making sure they don't screw up.
Basically, yeah, it's called the Traveler. The Traveler is responsible for giving all the Guardians their lights. So basically, gives the Guardians their powers. The Destiny 2 starts out with that city gets invaded. We lose. We get stomped.
It's actually XCOM 2. It's the same thing, where the premise of XCOM 2 is that basically you lost XCOM 1. It's like, whoops, oh well.
So you start out on a low note, and you actually figure this out in the story mission. It really sets the premise for Destiny 2, and I think it sets it on the note that it wants to set it at. So I have extremely high hopes for the story missions. I think all the story missions themselves will be great. I have a feeling that after the first one, you could probably do all the rest of them co-op. Is what you could do in Destiny 1 as well. I'm not sure if you can do that.
That's what I'm banking on, because that's what I want to do.
Yeah, because I think probably mission 2 onward, you could probably do co-op. The very first one is probably obviously too hard, because you hit start, and obviously you're instantly going to be put into the tutorial.
Right.
So, first episode, or the story mission, amazing. The strike mission, it's good, it's solid, but it directly reminds me of the strike missions from the very first Destiny. Maybe a little bit better, but the only thing that gets me, that kind of gives me pause is the fact that, it's an on-par strike mission, but it kind of is already giving me flashbacks to Destiny 1 endgame. I'm sitting there going, are they all going to be similar again? Is it going to be just kind of like vanilla strike missions that we can use to grind through? Is this just like, is this just the example they have so far? Like, what is this? I mean, it has some exciting moments, and there's some tricky things to it, but it's not nearly the same quality as the story mission by a large margin. I didn't do the Crucible matches. I don't know if I will do the Crucible matches. I didn't really like the Crucible.
That's the PvP?
The PvP version of it, yeah.
Yeah.
So getting away from the 2 missions, what I felt like, the base controls for Destiny for keyboard and mouse, the mapping selection was super weird for basic or default selections. Once you change it up, game functions great. The shooting, grenades, abilities, everything else functions as good as you could hope for. So far, my only critique for the controls is that the jumping feels different. I don't know how to describe it, but the jumping feels different. It doesn't feel like as responsive as Destiny 1 is.
It's like going from one Sonic game to another, and you're just like,
Well, because
I'm pressing the button.
Well, because Titans aren't supposed to be super mobile, but with the right abilities and everything else, my Titan moved decently quick. And for this one, it's like when you're tapping everything, like he jumps when you think he's going to jump, but then after that, because Destiny works in one of your abilities that you can select from is how your double jump works. It can be like a super quick one, like a super high height one that's more control, one that's like a strafe or anything else. Like each class has different movement abilities for their jump. And usually you hit the space once, it's a vanilla jump. You hit it twice, you start your special ability jump. You hit it a third time, you end that before it's supposed to end. You can actually time your jumps and everything else like that, but it just didn't feel as responsive or as I don't know, maybe it's because Yeah, go on.
I was reading about the different classes, and I saw that it was the Hunter had a double jump or something like that. Did they change it?
No, they all have double jumps. They all have that special They all have jumps that allow them to reach certain heights and distances, but the way they do it is different.
It's sort of like Mass Effect Andromeda. If you were regular, it was a jetpack, but if you were biotic, it was an actual biotic ability.
It's basically
still did the same thing.
Yeah, ultimately because the jump puzzles, everyone has to get through the jump puzzles. Sometimes, depending on which feature you have unlocked or which one you have selected, is a little harder for yours. There's definitely some classes that move a little bit further, but it still can be done with all of them. But that's the same thing. Warlocks used to have their double jump being they would fade in, fade out. They'd warp across something. They'd teleport basically. My Titan, you can one of the ones was a catapult launch. So as soon as you hit double jump, it went shoo, really quick, really high, but lack of control. Another one was kind of just a steady jetpack movement. You can choose which ones you want. It just didn't feel the same as it used to. I don't know if that's purely because I haven't played it in a while, because it's a space bar. I don't know, but That was one of the things I didn't like. The UI I think is far better. It's far more user friendly. It's cleaner. It's flashier. I like the UI complete. Like this, basically. Like
Boy, and Destiny had like famously attractive.
Oh yeah, like
UI.
And when I say the UI, I mean like
one.
the character selection, the equipment selection, all your like customizables, your loot, and all that. Very very nice. I like it. It's even more of a minimalist approach. It's great.
That does so much for me. I love a good interface. Like it's so underappreciated in games. Like just having a nice, clean, easy to understand, but attractive, menu screen. Like
exactly.
It does so much.
That's really nice. At least what is unlocked for the beta, I'll say. This is a weird, stupid critique, but it stood out to me. The character preview that you have, like when you're swapping out gear, that you can visually see the difference live of the gear. Like you can just see the visual difference. Doesn't look as clean as it used to. Like it's not nearly the same like graphical quality as the rest of the game. It's weird. But, like, it's a stupid little critique, but it's like, I don't know. The weapons feel just as good as they used to. Actual combat is, fast-paced, quick. There's no cover. This is a non-cover-based game, so it's just like, and shoot, basically. It's great.
So you think that this is... I don't know, like, this is a worthwhile sequel? Or like
I don't know if I can say that yet.
Like the people who play Destiny are gonna come to this and just be like, "Yep, I'm home." Or it's just like
I think, like I said, it's hard to say with what I've played so far. I definitely think people who played Destiny on console and have been like, "Oh, maybe I should switch to PC." I actually think the vast majority of people, probably the large majority of people that went from console, if they have a PC and they try it out on PC, will stay at PC. Personally, I don't doubt that. I think it handles so much better on the PC. Plus, graphically, it's so much better.
I don't doubt that. I will always champion first-person shooters as just being better to play on mouse and keyboard, or even if you use a controller on a PC, it's still.
I think. What was I going to say? I think, like I said, Destiny players will feel right at home. I think there's not going to be a ton of surprises there. The main difference for Destiny players is the new equipment system, which I have mixed feelings on. I actually thought when I first read it that it didn't sound all that bad. I thought, oh, maybe that's actually a nice change. Playing it now, I actually don't like it. I actually think not that I prefer the better one. I see where they're going with it, and I do like the idea of it. I think the main difference is like, so you have 2 normal slots and then like a special slot. The 2 normal slots still have different weapons because, like, in my mind, the way this perfectly would work, let's say you have 5 possible standard normal weapons. You could put any combination of those 2 in either of the 2 slots. That's not how it works. It's like you have 3 up here and 2 down here. So, like, you can only put, you know what I mean? They're not on the same level, but they're on the same level. Does that make sense? Like,
it wants them to be portrayed on the same level, but they're not.
Yeah, they're normal weapons, but they're not in the same equipable slot, which is weird to me. If they were in the same equipable slot, it would make sense. And the other thing is, shotguns are a special weapon. Like, shotguns, like, what? Like, shotguns are...
Some other game did that.
Like,
was it Titanfall? I think it was Titanfall did that with shotguns. Maybe not.
No, I don't think it's Titanfall, because Titanfall shotguns were standard equipment.
Yeah. But there was something where shotguns were like an unlockable skill.
Well, it's like
I can't remember
before,
which it was.
Like it used to be, you had 3 weapons. You had like similar type. You had a main weapon, which is like an assault rifle, a hand cannon, scout rifle, what have you. A secondary weapon, which is like shotgun, sword, sniper rifle. Actually, no, not sword. Like shotgun, sniper rifle, and maybe one other type of... And then the special weapon was like a rocket launcher or a fusion rifle or a sword, which makes sense.
Typical, yeah.
But this one is like, your first 2 weapon slots can be either like hand cannons, auto rifles, pulse rifles, auto cannons, so on and so forth. And then your final slot, your heavy slot, can be rocket launchers, shotguns, pulse rifles, or not pulse rifles, fusion rifles. So it's like, it's weird, like...
That's weird because I'm a big fan of shotguns as a prime weapon.
All they would have to do to make me happy with this is the first 2 slots, any weapon that's a standard weapon can go in them, and B, make shotguns a standard weapon. And like this game would be like that's my only gripe with this new equipment system. So those are my main concerns. I think I had one extra point that I wanted to make sure that I got to. Yeah, to you about it. Equipment can be fixed. Actually, yeah. Actually, no, that's all of them. But
yeah,
I want to check out the Hunter, but I do like the new, the Titans' new subclass, which is basically Captain America. It's a lot of fun. It's
they have
really
a shield.
Cool. Basically, yeah, you get a void shield that you can bash people with and then throw. I mean, come on.
Oh, that's cool.
And it even has, like, if you do one of the abilities, it actually blocks like projectiles and stuff like that. One thing though, which is interesting, one of the Titans' new class abilities, he actually spawns a waist-high wall that he does cover fire on. Like, he actually turns Destiny into a cover game with his one class ability.
Yeah.
But only he can do it. I don't know if other classes can do it. But basically, you can spawn the wall, then your character goes under it. Then every time you aim, he pops up and shoots, and then he goes under it again. So it's interesting.
Is the wall now an item that like your teammates can also be behind?
That I'm not sure of. I haven't.
Yeah.
If we play together, we could test it out, but I'm not sure.
Well, imminently, I hope that we'll be playing either, if not late tonight when we finish. Tomorrow we'll definitely be playing, and I don't know if we'll be streaming it.
If it's tomorrow, maybe.
Okay. Because Brian's got some new toys.
Yeah, that would have been up right now if I didn't screw up and order. Always check compatibility, kids. That is your Uncle Brian's helpful hit.
Like 5 times when you're getting computer parts.
Everything worked, but I bought the wrong motherboard for my processor, which is the dumbest thing possible, but I did.
It's understandable.
So that was the only problem. But yeah, so we'll be able to stream that maybe later this week, especially.
So this is leaving you feeling with good impressions about Destiny 2.
Yes, I mean I always was gonna have a good impression of Destiny. Like I was telling you this earlier,
it hasn't taken it away, which is good.
Yes, Destiny 2 is a game for me that I always will see with rose-colored glasses because of the type of game it is, and the type of games that I grew up on. This brings me back to like my original Xbox, the original high of like the original Halo for me. I think the one thing that I like about Destiny is not. I mean, you could say like, oh well, other games do its types of combat. Doom does its type of combat. Titanfall 2 kind of does its type of combat. Like, but the thing with Destiny is like it brings back the wonder and awe factor for this type of game for me. Like the whole point of Halo wasn't the fact that it was like, oh, the assault rifle was awesome and the plasma grenades were cool. It was like, you did all that, but in a world that you could just sit there and go, wow, look at this thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. It's funny because I never played Halo's campaigns. I've never played them. But and my only experience with Halo is through multiplayer with friends. So
I was going to spit out my water, but my computer's right here.
My impression of Halo has always been mediocre shooter. Like, as in just to play it, like, okay, that's a weapon, and of course it's on console, so I'm using a controller, so I'm not doing well. I'm feeling handicapped. I'm just like, this is fine. And why do people love Halo so much?
If you ever come over, we are gonna do all the stories.
But that's exactly the thing. Is it's like from a perspective of someone who's only ever played multiplayer, especially played like deathmatch type multiplayer, and lost. Like, what do you think I'm gonna think of Halo?
Yeah, Halo doesn't shine in multiplayer. Unfortunately, that's what it is now.
Yeah.
But the original Halo was a game that it was a linear story that took you through.
Which was the last time Bungie was on PC.
I know. Which it gave
12 years ago.
It gave you a linear story that was incredible. Like, it was awe-inspiring. Like, everything was full of wonder and new and like different challenges and things like that. I think that's what Destiny brings back. Every mission you go to, at least the first couple of times, you're gonna sit there and go, "Look at this place," or like, "Look at that thing." And like every time you get a new ability, it's like, "Oh my god!" So like, those are the things I like about it. And plus, Destiny's combat
16 years ago.
Yeah, I think Destiny's combat to me is another thing that just once again is always what brings me back to it. It's like there's a special type of action that gets your hands sweaty, your heart's pounding, you're smashing your
knees,
controllers.
Weak arms, spaghetti.
Well, because you're smashing your controllers, you're like, I'm gonna die, oh my god, I made it through. Like that kind of combat. Like every single second is like, we're all gonna die, but like you're still going and you're fighting, and somehow you make it through the other side, and you're just like, and you're completely and utterly spent.
I'll tell you, I this is leaping ahead a little bit, but I've been playing a shit ton of Overwatch this week, and that's the most recent game where I've actually just done the thing where you push away from your desk and you're just like, oh, you know, like whether it's good or bad, you're having a physical reaction, like oh.
So that's the type of thing that Destiny always brings to me, which is why I always will see it with at least some kind of rose-colored glasses. But trying to be objective at this point, I still think all the story missions will be at a pretty high caliber. But I'm still a little concerned about how they're going to address the endgame and if they're able to fix the concerns of endgame for especially even the original Destiny players as well as new Destiny players. That's going to be an interesting thing. The Crucible is going to be the Crucible. PvP, no matter what game anymore, it's good.
I've gotten into MMO games PvP before. Like, I played Guild Wars 2. I know it's not the same thing, but Guild Wars 2 PvP, like, a lot.
That's true, yeah.
I remember really getting into that.
But
just a little thing for our, viewers and listeners, for what it's worth. I'm going to be coming from the perspective of, again, someone who has no experience with Destiny at all, doesn't have any real experience with Bungie games. Obviously, those who've listened to us for a long time know that I'm not a newcomer to video games, but it's going to be interesting because you're coming in from the perspective of someone who really liked Destiny, the original Destiny, a lot. Really liked Halo, like loved these games. So I don't doubt your opinion whatsoever. Like we almost always 100%. We almost always 100% agree. Like if you think a game's good, I can understand why. And if I think a game's good, you do a really good job of pretending to understand why. But
most of the time we're aligned.
I'm super curious. Yeah, I'm super curious to know. Like, I'm really eager to play this.
Me too. I'm really eager to play this with you to see like live, like what you think. Like that's me an interesting thing.
Yeah, I should just put a camera on. It's just like 20 minutes of me going, "What is this shit?" Like,
I'm just sitting there going,
who called this a game? Who designed this? No, I'm sure I'll like it. For FPS, what it comes down to me is how good does it feel to play? Does it feel good to play? Even if I'm not good at it, does it feel good to play it? Like Overwatch, again, there are characters that I just am not good with, like Symmetra. There are certain characters who I just will never get a good handle on. But I don't mind when I'm playing them because it's like, well, I do like playing this game. I like the actions involved in it. So, the only complaint that I have out of the gate is that all of Bungie's guns are these long ass triangular things, and no matter what, I don't care if it's even a pistol. It's like this 300-mile long thing that ends in a point. Every time I did a little thing on Twitter in MS Paint.
I mean, there's some variety between the guns. I mean, especially because some of the guns it's kind of like Borderlands. There's like brands of guns. Like there's subsections of guns that have different looks to them. There's Earth guns,
but it's like
Mars
you get like a shotgun in a game, and it's this big round thing, or you get a missile launcher and it's got something on the side, or you got an assault rifle and it's a tall rectangle. Every single Bungie gun is like it goes like that.
I mean, I wouldn't say
that it's a problem, but it's a stylistic choice.
I wouldn't say that because I had rocket launchers that were multi-barreled. I've had shotguns which looked like an old Earth like industrial shotgun. I've had hand cannons that looked like Desert Eagles. I mean, so it might be interesting to see, but yeah, I mean, I understand what you're talking about because a lot of the non-Earth guns do have that kind of feel to them. But
it's this like triangle to a point kind of thing.
And I also think the higher up in rarity you go, the more vast the visuals are. So I feel like all the gray weapons are kind of look the same. But when you start to getting to like the purple and gold weapons, they all look different. Especially gold weapons.
Sure.
Gold weapons and gold armor are specially made to not look like anything else. That's the whole point of having a gold level item.
Which makes sense. Yeah, exactly.
Because like gold level items, you're only allowed one gold level weapon and one gold level armor piece, period. Like, that's it. So it's interesting to see. But we'll actually be coming back to that next week to get our final thoughts and everything else, which will be interesting. But we'll definitely keep that on the list for next week.
It's actually out soon, isn't it? It's like 2 weeks.
Destiny?
Yeah. Isn't it coming out soon?
September 6th.
Yeah, that's literally next Wednesday.
That
That's a
literally
week
is
from
next
tomorrow.
Wednesday, yeah.
Oh my god.
Which
Beta. Quick, we need a beta. When are we going to release? Tomorrow, I don't know.
Which is interesting because, like I said, I pre-ordered, and my pre-order is coming with stuff. So, like, I know that stuff's getting mailed to me, but I don't know if, like, my game copy's being mailed to me, if they're going to give me a code. Which is, you know, that's the one thing I'm worried about. I don't know if they're going to give me a code to preload with, or if they're going to be like, here, wait an extra week because you decided to pre-order. So here, like the collectible stuff you ordered, your game's shoved in there somewhere. It's like we're in the digital age. Just let me download it, damn it. But we'll see.
Yeah,
so
that does happen.
Join us next week, depending on the date. We might actually have both Tommy's beta impressions, and maybe if his beta impressions go large enough, he might actually have purchased a guest figure. Who knows? Maybe that's going to be the big surprise by the end of next week. But come, join us again for next week's
cliffhanger.
Ah,
that's our Game of Thrones cliffhanger.
Dun dun dun. Tommy Snow. But anyway, so Gamescom's a thing, and Gamescom is a thing that happened the 21st through the 26th, which was the 21st last week, basically. Monday the 21st through Saturday the 26th. And some fun facts about it. It was 5 times larger than E3 this year. 5 times larger than E3.
Gamescom has been doing pretty darn well.
I mean, Gamescom happened in Germany this year, I believe. But yeah, 5x bigger than E3. My God. Another cool thing is that the People's Choice Award for the entire Gamescom, which is interesting because there's, like, I don't even know, like tens of, not hundreds of games at Gamescom, probably, between the booths and everything else.
Yeah.
There's probably at least tens of,
you
know, close to 100 games, or who knows what. The People's Choice Awards for this year was FIFA 2018. Like, I'm like, really? Out of all the games, FIFA
I wonder if that has anything to do with it being
in
held
Germany?
In Europe.
Maybe, but I just thought that was funny. Like, I know FIFA's a big game. It's kind of like Madden here. There's a subset of people that will always buy that year's Madden. Guaranteed. There's a subset of people who will always buy that year's Call of Duty. They might eat paste afterwards, but they will always buy that year's Call of Duty. So...
Shots fired!
Don't worry, it's a Call of Duty game. It crashed before the shot hit. But anyway.
Oh, shit! You are on fire!
Something that these games will never be. But anyway. But yeah, it could be, right? Because, I mean, it is Europe. Soccer's huge in Europe. I know, like, there was a subset of people in my college campus that were just nothing but FIFA players, so... But it's, like, another thing. Like, how there's gonna hit a point when you cannot improve a sports game anymore. Besides updating rosters, you know.
I think we've hit that point. I mean, I like sports games, especially like basketball games. But
yeah, it's like, what's new with this version? You can now choose between orange and or blue cleats. Ooh.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, how much more realistic are they going to move? Not much more. So, like that's the main thing. But it's
basically what you're going to see. If I were to gauge or to make a prediction, I think that eventually there's going to be a point where they do what has happened with software like Adobe and things like that, where they're going to just release FIFA, and then it's just going to get patched with new team rosters.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. Like, just the rookies get added in, and then like the old people get added, like, you know, removed and things like that. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I think it's the way that they have to go.
Instead
even though
of
I think from
doing annualized versions.
I think from a business model, though, they would probably lose a shit ton of money. But I agree. Like, how much more... There's going to hit a point where people are like, there's no reason to buy the next one. It's like, you're not giving me anything new. But we actually have quite a few games from Gamescom that we are going to cover just as part of this big, giant, Addicted to Loot make-up episode.
We got a kind of a cluster of, like, announcements. I'm sorry, there's, like, a really long delay between our two streams, so if it takes me a while to respond, I apologize.
Is the audio off, or is it just the stream?
It's the whole thing, like...
Really? Which is interesting, because I have nothing dropped on my end.
Oh, no, it's, like, I don't know what it is, but it's okay, it's okay. So, yeah, we're going to kind of cover a cluster of news and things that happened over the past 2 weeks since we've been off the grid, as it were.
On hiatus.
Some of these are Gamescom announcements. Yeah, some of these are Gamescom announcements. Some of them are not.
But it all kind of fits in together. So the very first one we're going to start with is No Man's Sky is actually back in the news with its big Atlas Rises update. Now, Tom, you are the resident No Man's Sky buff, so please take us away into Atlas Rises.
Yeah, so No Man's Sky got patched a few months ago, and that was what added like base building and vehicles and stuff like that. And that was some cool stuff. It was stuff that was promised on release, so people were happy with that. But it wasn't really much. But with this Atlas Rises update, this is like now they are doing surprising things, which is making me really happy. They are releasing new planet types, like there are synthetic planets now, which are really cool looking. There are really weird like animal combinations now, but like and there's all sorts of like changes to the way the inventory works and things like that. But the biggest thing that this is supposedly doing, right in the name Atlas Rises, is it's changing the story. Air quotes story, because there wasn't really a story in the original release. It was this kind of objective hopping thing, and then and do it all again.
Travel to the center of the galaxy.
Now I guess there is a story. There's like a character that you're interacting with and stuff like that. I haven't done it. I haven't reinstalled the game yet, but I really want to. Like as is known on this and on this podcast, I like No Man's Sky. I like No Man's Sky a lot, actually. So much so as to pick it as my game of the year last year for a couple different reasons. But this is cool. These are some really surprising. Like again, the new planets look so cool, and it's really funny because it got me thinking. Like, wow, I had some really good times in No Man's Sky that are filed away in the same part of my brain as like, boy, that was a really cool hike that I went on back in 2014. It was like, I really liked all the flowers and rocks that I took pictures of on that hike up that mountain in real life. That's like the same thing that No Man's Sky is to me. It's like, wow, I had a really good time like exploring this. I remember at this one point, not even so much the survival aspect, although that kept it interesting, but just the exploration of it. So I'm here to see new weird stuff.
One of the things
that's basically it.
Well, one of the things that I'm most excited for is that with this update, with this Atlas Rises update, that they actually are going to give a form of co-op play, an actual form of online co-op play now.
Yeah, have you seen it? Because it's interesting.
Yeah, it's like you get to potentially do like a lobby co-op with like 16 people or something.
But it's not people. It's like orbs that represent the character, your presence. It's not like you're a character with arms and legs and a body that can interact and do things. It's almost like spectator mode in like shooters.
But you actually there's some kind of concept, visual feedback. Like a
little bit, yeah. That there is this ghostly orb floating around and say, hey, that's Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hi.
So yeah, that's cool, and maybe it's paving the way for potential actual co-op. I don't know what it is, but there's obviously something in their framework that's preventing them from doing it. Because it's not like this is a new concept. So
yeah, that's the main thing. Probably the only thing that really gets me somewhat re-interested in for No Man's Sky is the potential for co-op again. Because that was back when, I think, even on our original No Man's Sky coverage that we did with our friend Alec, like, one of the main things that we all said was we wish there was co-op. If this game with a friend probably would be far more interesting, because you could just be like, where the hell are you going? I found a thing. I'm following the thing. Look at the thing. But
Right. And actually, Alec is a great example, because Alec is my perpetual outdoor exploration buddy. Like, he's the guy that I go on hikes and stuff like that with. So it'd be interesting, especially all three of us. But he's the kind of person I'd wonder if his perspective towards it would be similar, because I don't know if he's like that in games as well. Where it's I get a thrill at looking at, wow, look at that vista. Look at that mountain. I want to go to that mountain. I want to see that mountain. What's up there? Nothing, but I want to go see it.
sometimes over that mountains, the town of Colebrook.
I know.
You shall journey there.
Oh, that's an obscure one.
Yeah, very much so. You and the other 12 people in our high school class will be the only people that ever get that joke. But I'm gonna make it, darn it. But either way. So yeah,
that's it's good. That's courage to go make that joke.
So Atlas Rises does give us additional 30 hours of new story content that Tom said. There's a new race, and one could say there's some form of co-op, which are the big highlights within this, which should be interesting to see. I don't know if do you think there's an update that No Man's Sky or like an additional feature that No Man's Sky could give that would bring it back to the forefront of market?
You're not the first person to ask me that, like specifically. I think that No Man's Sky probably, I could see them having like one more update, but I think they're going to plateau, and I think that they're going to just.
So you don't think
they've done it? They've done enough stuff to make people chill out on it, and also just publicly the way that we all are with video games after 2 years. Like,
so you don't think there's like,
if it's not
like, you don't think that they could give like one more update that would be like, this game is now officially a Game of the Year contender. Oh my god, look at this update.
Well, the thing is, again, with their update a few months back where they added base building, and a little bit before that they added like freighters, those are things I remember Sean Murray talking about, like saying, we want to add these things. And so that was part of my excitement of, oh, I'd love to have a space shipping freighter. Like, wow, how cool would that be just to be like a trader? I remember talking with you about that. And the base building is something that's cool. I haven't really gotten into it, but I feel like after all the years that I spent on Minecraft, I've been like burnt on the idea of building a home on a planet. Like, I've done that. You know, I know what that feels like. I don't need that again. I'm glad that it exists. But it's like I said, all the things that they added with Atlas Rises are all surprises. No rhyme intended. They'd have to just... I don't know what else they could do besides something that would be a real surprise. Oh my gosh, you know. Adding a really bang-up story, I guess. Adding more creature generation, adding more plant generation. That's what the game is at its core. Weird, new, random procedural generation.
Words to live by. Thoughts to ponder.
Words to live by.
Words to live
by. No,
by.
I like No Man's Sky, and I'm looking forward to going back into it ultimately, eventually.
And I look forward to eventually hearing about you getting back into it, because mine will probably forever be permanently uninstalled. So,
gather dust.
Basically, virtual dust, which I'm not sure. Do you think there's virtual dust bunnies? It's like, is that what happens when you do disk cleanup? You sweep away the virtual dust bunnies?
Disk defragmenting. They should do that defragmenting thing, but with like little bunnies.
There's just a giant lizard. I defragmented his ass. But
how is that? That's someone must have made like a game about that. Defragment.
The defragmenter.
I mean, it's in the name. The defragmenter. I love it. Let's do it.
Fun fact, because we brought up bunnies, I have a press code for an Oculus Rift VR game that is called Hangry Bunnies from Mars.
Sold.
I am so interested in what this game is going to be. Like, I saw a still image of it. I'm sitting there going, I don't know what I'm going to feel with this game, but the title alone is just like, I need to play this. Like, okay, let's do this.
It's natural.
More to come next week.
That was like me with Goat Simulator. It was like, I don't know what this is, but I need it. And it turns out it's this like big thing. So.
Amazing thing. Speaking of big, amazing things, Overwatch has had a ton of stuff. Like, a ton of stuff. Like, where do we even begin? Like, I guess we start at the top of the list because that's logical. So, very first thing, Overwatch is finally getting a deathmatch mode. That means instead of, a team v team, it's just going to be an all-out brawl, which I'm kind of very mixed on.
Well, they do have... There's going to be a free-for-all and a team deathmatch one, but basically it's not all objective.
Yeah, but I mean, basically every game is a team deathmatch, just with an additional objective, kind of. But my main thing with the deathmatch matches, Overwatch is made to be a game where the sum of your parts equals good team. A deathmatch mode to me is just like, there's no reason to play a tank that has 0 kill potential in a deathmatch. Like, I feel like it's going to be like a ton of tracers, a ton of Widowmakers. You know what I mean? Like, it just get like there's going to be no healers. Like, why would you?
I can't remember what it's called, but there's the brawl where it's all Soldier 76s.
Yeah, like
that's it.
It's like an arcade mode.
That's your deathmatch mode.
Yeah, it's an arcade mode.
Yeah, and it's like because you're gunmen with a slight self healing or AOE, very small AOE healing, sprinting. You know, that was the. I remember playing that, and always in chat, people are like, "Oh wow, now this is Call of Duty," because you just only play Soldier 76, and
so it's gonna be it's only gonna be death matches with features as opposed to just all pick deathmatch. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's all pick deathmatch, I feel like it's just gonna come down to the same heroes over and over and over again because you're only gonna pick people that have high kill potential. Why would you pick a healer? Why would you pick some of the tanks?
Like Soldier?
Yeah, I mean. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I guess it's a cool feature to add in. It
especially free for all.
I don't know. Like, it's just kind of like... It's just going to be like a completely wacky mode, I guess, but which isn't unheard of because Overwatch has done that before.
Yeah, I think that it's probably going to do okay, but Overwatch is definitely an objective game at its core. It was designed to be that. It was designed to be, like you said, the sum of the parts is the team. The closest they get to stretching that is the famous now permanent all random heroes mode. That's, that could sometimes saddle you with a combination where it's like, oh, I don't know what to do. We don't have a healer or something like that. But the deathmatch is a part of gaming pantheon, gaming lore. I mean, Quake, Doom, whatever, what have you. It's what multiplayer shooters were. And so I like deathmatch mode. I like free-for-all deathmatch modes or team deathmatch modes. They're fun. They're a little bit more casual than objective stuff. Objective, it's easy to get pissed off at a member of your team or to have someone get pissed off at you or anything like that. And so it may be kind of like the all random heroes mode where it's just fun. It's just a fun distraction from the main game.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
It could be. Should be interesting to hear. We have a new map, Chateau Galliard. How do you say that? Chateau Galliard.
Oh, yeah.
Widowmaker's home.
Yeah, Widowmaker's home.
Cool little map, I guess.
It's cool looking. It's cool looking. I like it. This definitely reminds me of this definitely reminds me of like Quake.
Stuff like that. Definitely.
Having Castelline maps.
There's another new map. It is an escort mission called Junkertown, which is where Junkrat and Roadhog are from. And this map screams Junkrat and Roadhog to me. I mean, like, they hit it right on the head with this map. Yeah, and it was released or debuted with a hilarious animation funny with Junkrat movie and Roadhog. If you haven't seen it, definitely it's got shades of like Edgar Wright. It's really funny. Yeah, you definitely need to see it. Go on. Okay. Go ahead. Also, another cool little short is that they had a May short video, which Tom is absolutely in love with. Oh, this is. I will say that it's a bummer that the Junkrat short and the May short were released like a day or two apart because the Junkrat one was really funny and deserved to be appreciated, but the May one blows like all of the Overwatch shorts out of the water. That feels like a sex euphemism. It was not. Blows the shorts right out of the water. It's astoundingly emotional. May is adorable. There's a bit where May comes out of cryosleep and she's got like bedhead and pajamas, and if they don't release that as a skin, I'm just boycotting Blizzard. No, it's amazing. It's pun intended. She's very cute. Yeah, it's amazing. It's cute. It's adorable. It's sweet. It's sad. It's emotional. It's empowering. It does how. It's funny because people don't really say this anymore, but how Overwatch is like, oh, it's like a Pixar movie, but in a game. This feels like
a Pixar short that would play before the full-length movie, where it's like it tells a complete emotional arc in a very short span of time. It's so great. Go watch the main one. Be prepared to board the field train. It's funny though because obviously those who play Overwatch or those on the fringes know that Mei is kind of hated. She's kind of a troll. That's never changed. She still has some of the most annoying abilities to play against. But everyone's just like unified right now. Like, oh, I will protect Mei with my entire heart and soul. It's like then I went back and I was then I'm going back and playing it. It's like, fuck this. I can't stand it. She puts her ice wall. It's like, ice wall? I'm like, fuck you. No, it's great. I think the Mei short just was there to be there. And I don't think it was really announcing anything.
No, it really wasn't. She already had her map. She already had her like winter events. Yeah, it was really just there to show Mei's background.
Antarctica.
Really. Yeah. The final. Go on.
Well, I was going to say that she was wearing a Summer Games shirt, which was kind of funny because the Summer Games was happening right now. So that was like the only tie-in to current Overwatch.
Right. The last update that came to Overwatch is that Mercy is getting a large, huge, groundbreaking change. Apparently, Blizzard hates it that an entire team can be washed away with a really good Mercy revive. So, guess what? No more Mercy revives as an ultimate. Mercy revives will now be an activatable ability that's on a cooldown, as opposed to the ultimate.
She can now revive single players on her E.
Yeah, it's going to be like a cooldown. Yeah, a cooldown for a standard ability on a cooldown now. But single target, not a team. Her new ultimate, though, kind of turns her into a DPS character. Her new ultimate...
Well, there's a really funny meme going around with what was that Tom Hanks movie, Captain such and such, where the guy boards the ship.
Yeah. Phillips?
I can't remember what it is.
Captain Phillips?
But he maybe. And it's like Hanzo is Tom Hanks, and the pirate guy is Mercy. It's going, look at me, I'm the DPS now. Well, it's just like,
because her new ultimate, when you activate it, it makes her permanently flying, or at least for the span of the ultimate. Her actual primary fire, I think, does more damage, and it's like quicker. Her abilities have their cooldown decreased, and I think that's the main thing. But yeah, she's a permanent. Right. Think about Pharah if she never hit the ground and just spam the machine gun. Like, that's really what Mercy is, and she hits her ultimate. She just flies over your head and just so it's hilarious to just see like a Mercy hit her ultimate and just fly over the enemy team, just like murdering people.
Yeah, this is really interesting. It reminds me a little bit, real quick, that when I played the Overwatch beta, I thought Mercy was going to be my main. I thought that she was easily going to be my character that I was going to fall in love with, and it ended up being Lucio. So
yeah, which is interesting.
I don't know, because she felt a little bit underpowered for me as compared to Lucio. But
from a healing perspective or from a DPS perspective?
From a DPS perspective, and that's why I like Lucio, because he is a hybrid class. Lucio is a DPS healer, or DPS support, I guess I should say. And I love that. That's so cool to me. Like, that is a hybrid class that is super underused. The thing is, though, I've got conflicting opinions on this, because nothing beats that moment where you've wiped out the team. You're feeling great. You know, maybe the capture point is like 99 to 99, and you just need to hold it. And then Mercy just swoops in, and everyone's back. Just brings everyone back to life, whether you're playing against it or whether that happens to your team. No matter what, you have an emotional response to that. You're just like either or fuck.
Yeah, Mercy's
and I feel like that's become like an essential part of Overwatch, and so it's really interesting that they're nixing that.
Yeah, because Mercy was my support hero of choice if I was playing a support role. Depending on the map, I usually was between Lucio and Mercy, but I had numerous moments as Mercy where you just like, running to the point. It's like, countdown in 5, 4, and then
yeah, that's exactly
you
it.
fly in with your shift ability to zoom in,
So
and
she
then right at
flies right in.
and there's right at the countdown between 1 and 0, you're spamming your ultimate. All of a sudden it procs, it opens up, and then it's it wipes out the timer, and then what the hell just happened? And then it's just what?
Especially if they've wiped out all 4 other members or 5 other members. It's
you come out of nowhere, just spam your ultimate. You instantly play with your life because every single character on the planet will instantly murder any Mercy that just does that. But then they all die.
It's like when you use May's ability where she turns into an ice cube, but the entire team is still alive around you.
And they just surround her because they're no, we're going to kill you. No, we'll wait here. We're patient. Yeah. But,
no, take your time.
No, we'll stay here. But yeah.
I guess I'm surprised because they're not completely this isn't a nerf. Actually, this is a buff.
Yeah, it's not really a nerf. It's a reconfiguration of the character. I mean, it used to be that her primary focus was to wipe team wipes, and now her primary focus is to be a single target healer and reviver with a DPS ultimate, which is interesting because Lucio's ultimate is still a support ultimate, but her ultimate is now a DPS ultimate, which is funny.
Right. Yeah, Zenyatta's is a support. I don't remember what Anna's is.
The overdrive dart.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's still a support one. So you're right. Mercy is the only strictly support character that's going to have DPS.
Like a non-strictly support ultimate, which is interesting. But we'll call.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, so we'll call it quits on Overwatch for now. It'll be interesting to hear.
I don't know. I could talk about it now or during the playlist, but I've been playing a shit ton of Overwatch. I'll just get it out of the way now because I don't really have anything to say on it. But for the past 2 weeks, for the summer game stuff, it's really funny because I was telling you before we started streaming that it was you can win so many matches per week if you win 3 matches. And you have to win them, you get a loot box. Win 3 more, you get a loot box. You win 3 more, you get a loot box, and then that caps out for the week. But you still get loot boxes for leveling up, and they're summer games ones. So, and the skins this summer have been so great. Like the Soldier 76 with the raise the stakes and the cooking gear and stuff like that. It's just fun stuff. So it's been a good motivation. Also, I've been playing with Ambling Panda. We had her in chat a couple weeks ago, and her husband. So that's been really fun playing with those guys. Both the actual quick play and the all random mode. And it's funny because I actually started to understand Zenyatta and characters like that. It just there were things that were starting to finally connect with some of these characters. I haven't really solidly played Overwatch since February, so I'm experiencing some changes that have happened since that time. But I had a really good time playing it. It's still a really great game. I compared it on Twitter the other day to feeling like you're playing with action figures. It just feels like you're playing with toys when you play Overwatch in a really cool, imaginative way. Not just because it's colorful, but the way everything's animated and stuff. I'm really good with Doomfist too, believe it or not. He's really quick. And that's my thing. I like quick DPS-y characters, but I like him a lot. I like his skill set. Especially his right click is this long punch, you wind up and you just shoot forward. You could combine that with knocking a character into the air. He's basically a Street Fighter character is what he is. All of his abilities are based on that kind of stuff. So that's a lot of fun.
Do you think his ultimate is a little overpowered?
But the thing is, oh yeah, his ultimate is murder. That's probably going to get nerfed. But the thing is, I was playing yesterday was the last day of summer games stuff, and I hit the point. I hit the point where I had leveled up. I got a loot box, checked out what was in it. I thought, I could play a little bit more, level up, get another one. I thought, I'm done. I've been overwatched. I've probably logged another 20 hours into this game over the past 2 weeks. So, but it basically seems like it'll be a game that I will forever pull out when holidays happen. like a good MMO or something. Christmas comes around, Halloween comes around.
Yeah, Halloween, Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. So Overwatch is still great. It's a game that if you haven't played it and you're even vaguely into that, get it. It's good. There are good people playing it. It's fun.
Definitely. We'll close the books on Overwatch for now and move on to something else. A game that we've actually covered quite a bit on the podcast, at least gave it coverage for quite a bit. Sonic Mania is actually a thing now. It's actually released. I think Tom, you know more about it than I do, but yeah, it's a thing now. It's a game now.
Yeah, I don't know if I know a lot about it, but Sonic Mania is basically a take on original Sonic. There's been this whole thing for the past decade and a half now where Sonic hasn't been great. And this was make Sonic great again. Sorry, I don't want to bring politics into this. This was literally, hey, remember Sonic and Sonic and Knuckles and stuff like that, up to basically CD, and people like it. People like it a lot. It's your side-scrolling 16-bit, 32-bit Sonic, completely playing on the nostalgia of that. It's a complete game of, hey, remember this? New levels and old. It's kind of just a reskins and then some reimaginings of stuff. It looks good. I mean, it looks fine. I can't get excited about it. And I've been refraining
from commenting. It's not really like a new game. It's just like a remastered.
Well, I'm sure it's good, but I don't know. I've had that itch scratched. I'm not looking for it. I haven't been looking for it. I am, a proponent of the Sonic Generations, which it looks like is basically going to be the new one, Sonic Forces. Looks like it's going to be a sequel to that. I like that. It mixes the side-scrolling with the Sonic Adventure, third-person RPG or whatever you want to call it, version of Sonic, third-person runner. I like that. I have a good time playing those games. So I'm in the minority, but it's like Sonic Mania is like, oh, cool. I'm glad that the people who really want it have a game that's really good, that they really like. The music's good, the art's great. I'm more excited for Sonic Forces. That's more my jam.
No, I can agree with you on that one.
But I'm glad Sonic Mania's gotten great reviews. And that's now out. It's funny because on our Google Doc, it was, for the past 2 weeks, delayed on PC, not out yet. As of today, it's now out. It came out today. So you can now play it on PC as well.
Tuesday, August 29th. It is out today. Go out and get it. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
And on more dire news... as one game is born, another one shall be put to rest. Mass Effect Andromeda, the single player is officially RIP. It is officially resting in peace. It is no more. It is not a thing any longer. They have officially put the kibosh on all single player support and development for Mass Effect Andromeda.
I can't say we didn't see this coming.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it's not... I don't know. I'm not heartbroken. I think it was going to happen one way or the other. It's not a huge surprise. Mm-hmm. I don't think anyone's going to... Like I said, I don't think anyone out there is like, oh my god, no. I think everyone's like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because I'm one of those people. I'm one of those ones that would have been potentially heartbroken. I'm thinking, yeah, it's fine, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what really is there going to be added? Like, what really is there to really be heartbroken about?
The big complaint that I had when I finally finished the game and I came on here and talked about it was that they leave so many things open with the obvious intent of this will be covered in DLC. The prime one being, hey, the Quarian arc is here, but ... cut to credits.
Yeah.
So they've said that what they're going to do is they're going to have information about the Quarian arc, etc., in novels, in comics, things like that, which Mass Effect has always had. But the things, especially like the comics, have been side stories, like, oh, hey, let's tell the story of this minor character, or things like that. Stuff that hasn't been essential plot material, so-called essential. So it's a little bit irritating to me that they designed this game with these things left open, probably knowing that these things may not be created. Also, I feel bummed if there were things if there were things that they were like, oh yeah, we have this great DLC planned, but we can't do it because the support isn't there. That's fine. I mean, that's not fine, but it's like, oh well.
Yeah.
Agreed. That's too bad.
Yeah, I was not sure if there's going to be anything that they would really release and or develop that would really change Andromeda or the reception of Andromeda. So I can see it being a wise choice from a company perspective. But I mean, it's always a shame when a game such as this kind of gets put to rest. But I do agree that at this point, after the reception that BioWare or that this game has received, that that some people at BioWare thought was unwarranted, or they thought it was like kind of too much. I probably would argue the opposite of that. But regardless, I think it is good for BioWare to kind of put a close on this, move forward, go on to Anthem. Right? Anthem? Isn't that the new one?
Yeah, Anthem. Like, I was thinking about... I was thinking, would there be a good Mass Effect Andromeda 2? But honestly, it's probably... I don't know. The whole thing almost feels like a misstep. Like, they just need to take it back to, Mass Effect 3 has ended, let's do it again.
Yeah, let's try it again. Yeah, because I agree with you there. I think Mass Effect Andromeda was a big misstep. It was a game that they wanted it to be one thing, they marketed it as one thing, then kind of like No Man's Sky, it was something completely different. Like, it was like, we're going to give you a completely different Mass Effect experience that you would not tie to the original Mass Effect. And it's like, no, this is literally the Shepard story all over again with a different enemy. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not...
It's funny because I remember I was at a very certain point in the plot and you were at a different point further along. Yeah. I was like, boy, Brian, I really like how this game is like not making you the hero of the story. You're just a random character. And you were like, just wait.
Just wait. Just give it time. Just give it...
It was like the next time I checked in, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm the chosen one again, aren't I?
Because this game would be so much better if you maintained being a nobody. Like, if you're just a dude in a universe who was just, like, figuring out what the hell is going on. Like, just was like, what is this place? We need to find a home. This place isn't good for us. Oh, my God. Like, if you're just a dude dealing with, like...
I'll help.
Yeah, like, if you're just a guy figuring out... Who do you side with, the scientists or the soldiers? Like, that would probably be a decent game. It would be completely different. It would give you a different outlook on Mass Effect. But no, it was literally, 5 minutes of that, and then next minute, oh my God, you're the only person who can save the entire galaxy from these people.
It's chosen one.
I just freaking got here. You didn't even know my species had existed like a week ago.
I know.
Like, what the hell is it? Like, literally... Yeah. 2 days ago, you had me in handcuffs because you're like, what is this, that alien? Kill the alien. Oh, now all of a sudden I'm the chosen
We don't trust you, savior.
Save us. Yeah, so I'm glad
I think what they could do is they could, one of the original ideas was that after... Obviously, the problem, the elephant in the room is the way that Mass Effect 3 ended.
Oh, yeah.
Can't let you continue. It's just the way that game...
If you have a certain combination of endings, it does have an open ending.
But that's only if you have that combination of endings. Exactly. What about the person who didn't,
Yeah,
so it's like... they could do what they did with...
Shepard comes back in an android's head. Like, he gets put into, like, the internet, and he gets downloaded into a cyborg.
Right, but there's a possibility that everything could have been destroyed too. So, they could do what they did with Dragon Age, because at the end of Awakening is where they introduced the character of Anders, but Anders is a key character in Dragon Age 2. And at the end of Awakening, there's a possibility that Anders could have died. It's like an off-screen, in the epilogue death, like found with an arrow through his neck. And in Dragon Age 2, when he shows up, you can literally be like, I thought you died. And he's like, I got better. It's just like, it's like, okay, that's one way you could solve that problem.
Hand wave.
It's like, weren't you decapitated? Yeah.
Weren't you a newt? But I got better.
But I think what they could do, one of the original theories is that they were going to go back in time to like First Contact Wars, which was Turians and humans, and
that would be interesting.
They could do a smaller game, a more focused game where it is humans circa year 2070,
Well, I think
near future, meeting the Turians. Like, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I think another way they could do it would be literally they basically, the one thing this would be kind of nice for is that they actually basically gave themselves this plot already. The whole reason for the Reapers was that they hit the reset button on the galaxy when the galaxy got to a certain point where it's going to like eat in on itself. Like where it's like you had a shot, you guys failed because you always fail. Reset button. It'd be interesting to say like
Reapers are the ultimate cynics. Like,
well, I mean, it'd be interesting. Like they could also go the other way where it's like 1,000 years later or a couple hundred years later, and it literally is. You play a character in the galaxy dealing with the effect of the fact that you got the chance to continue it. Oh shit, you're running into the spot that the Reapers were trying to prevent you from getting. Like,
yeah,
maybe like
that's a cool idea.
There's no more planets left to explore. There's no more room left to colonize. All the planets are starting to lose resources.
Yeah.
Maybe the races turn in on themselves, and you're trying to stop a galactic civil war. Like, who knows? Like, it could be instead of like fighting the ultimate evil, you're playing the ultimate diplomat. Like, who knows? Like,
yeah. The problem also, again, is that Mass Effect is known as, the original trilogy is known as the game with the Krogan, the Asari, the Turians, the Solarians, yada yada. And so and Shepard. But with Andromeda, they couldn't just be like, okay, now we've got the Angara and I cannot remember their names now. That's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I want to call them the Krull, but that's not it. But anyway, we've got, these new races, and even then there's a twist with them, which is kind of weird. But they have to say, yes, but we're gotta have these iconic races, so let's have them all come in. Ket. That's it. So, I don't know. Is Mass Effect a game of I'm making choices in a sci-fi universe, or is it a game of these races and a hero?
I do think that if Mass Effect, if BioWare wanted to wants to be successful with a subsequent Mass Effect game, they have to do one of two things. They either need to truly wipe the slate clean, which they're supposed to do with Andromeda, like literally get rid of the races, get rid of the storylines.
I love the Angara. I thought the Angara was so cool.
They're cool, but I mean, it's like you have to completely erase everything and start over, or you 1,000% embrace all of it and give people exactly the same game again. Like, you have to give them the game with all the races, just with a different driving plot point. Which, is there a better driving plot point than, oh shit, the world's, like, the universe is ending? Who knows? But yeah, I agree. They either need to, like, wipe the slate clean or just keep going with the exact same formula.
They could do a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern and have you play, like, two random soldiers who, like, interact with Shepard 5 times, but otherwise are doing their own.
Sequel, not a prequel, but it's like a same-quel.
A side-quel, where it's like, you're literally doing cleanup after Shepard or something.
Yeah, they did that for the Matrix as well. Like, the console Matrix games was that you played soldiers that Neo interacts with.
Right. And so there could be this great kind of like side game where it's like you're not, the main characters, but it's happening simultaneously.
But see, Halo ODS tried to do that as well, and it fell flat on its face hard.
Oh,
like not even like it kind of.
And of course, the other thing is, what were your Shepard's choices? So.
Yeah, and what would a soldier really do in the Mass Effect universe that'd be interesting to really do? Shepard made all the big choices. You're just like, this is shit.
I want the Call of Duty game where it puts you on the front line. You're there. You've got your opening cinematic. You're ready to go into battle, and then just a stray bullet takes you in the head and it cuts the credits. It's like, I spent $70 on this. This is like war is hell.
The ultimate soldier. This was you paid $70 for a lesson in morality. You're welcome.
I mean, like some move done by like some activist organization that's like, oh, we know what we'll do.
That would be hilarious.
I want to do that. Just the ultimate troll video game with like, you've got this long cut scene that's leading you in. It's like your character's name is like Jim Dirtman or something, and it's like he's gonna be the guy. And he's betrayed. You got him lifting weights and stuff, and he's on the boat or in the gunship or whatever, and he lands. And it's
credits. No, I think it'd be better if it was a cutscene that always, like, every 5 minutes you thought it was going to end, but it just keeps going. It actually turns out it's like a 45-minute movie, like, just to end
Metal
with
Gear.
you never actually touching a control and your character just gets shot in the head.
You're about to. It's like it does the thing where you see the HUD appear, like the health bar and the like ammo and stuff, and that's just it.
It's kind of like the scene from Broforce when that one enemy. Like, right when you start, the one guy, you see him get born, and then he goes through training, and then he has like a TNT vest, and he says like a tear, then he jumps off and it explodes. Like, what the hell? That's it. Like, that'd be hilarious. But yeah,
right, we're gonna enter a game jam, and that's what we're gonna make.
Yes, I do think with Anthem, if BioWare wants to be successful with Anthem, they have to truly forget and not touch on anything Dragon Age or Mass Effect. They need to physically just like wipe the slate clean and give us something truly novel, or they're gonna risk the same fates. I mean, Dragon Age had an issue with Inquisition. Mass Effect had an issue with Andromeda, which I do believe is a direct
Dragon Age had an issue with too, as well.
Agreed. But they're like, because like this is what I don't get about BioWare. They had a set like the I guess the lead developers or the lead people who run BioWare, if you want to say like the board of execs, whatever, literally sat there and went, man, Dragon Age Inquisition really did not do well. We did not have nearly the sales we wanted for that game. What should we do? We should do the exact same thing. Okay, let's do that. Like that. Like it's weird to say like you didn't go like, oh, we're gonna learn from a game that we were successful with. They said Mass Effect Andromeda is gonna use things we learned from Inquisition, a game that not failed, but did not do well, and then do the same things. It's like you know what I mean? It's just like you need to like cut it off, cut the head, start clean, give people something completely different, go back to your roots. And just, hopefully give us something good to play.
I predict, just reading the vibes, that in 2-3 years' time, you're going to start to see smaller games. You're going to.
I hope.
I think that we're the heat death of the universe. Like we've expanded, and it's like we've got our Witcher 3s and our Skyrims out of the way. We've got these games that are just like, oh my god. And yeah, you're gonna always have something that's like, here's a fantasy RPG that takes 800 hours, and that's fine because there is a market for that. There is a time and a place for that. But the two things that you're seeing right now are long games or procedural generation games, and
massive
narrative games.
RPGs, yeah.
Narrative games. I think Titanfall 2 was a prime example of like, hey, you could have an 8-hour campaign. It's okay.
That's one
does
of the
not
I like
have to be
Titanfall
80
2.
hours.
Yeah. Titanfall 2 is one of my reasons why it was almost my game of the year for last year, because of the fact that it showed you could take a $60, $70 game with a campaign that was less than 10 hours that was extremely linear but was so successful, as opposed to these games that are massive. They're huge, they're like never ending, and they're open. And it was a great contrast to that, and the fact that, hey, remember these games we used to give you? They still work.
Arcane has been doing that. Like Dishonored comes to mind, and I'm going to be talking about it in the future because I've only just started playing it, but I started playing Prey today. And these are games that are just, they'll do something for like one level, and that's it. It only, these assets, these beats, story beats, these even skills, like Titanfall 2 is a great example of literal just gameplay changes for one level, and you never see it again, and Dishonored especially is a great example of something that's probably about a 15-hour game, I'd say, the first one, but the density in it is like, oh my god, if you could, it'd be like whatever that material is, where it's like it's wrapped up so small, but it's the heaviest stuff on earth. Like, it's just
dark matter.
Yeah, basically. That's exactly it. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of. You can have a game be something that you play through once, it's like, that was really cool, or something like Dishonored where you just go through again, you go through a different way, you mine it. Deus Ex, you mine it for all the different little things. You realize how much, original Deus Ex, how much, I saw the expression. Like, let me be very clear. I am not talking about the most recent one. But you know what I mean? And I think hopefully maybe you're going to start to see more of that. Maybe it's just optimism.
I really, really hope you're right, because I do wish that I hope that the market or the industry swings back that way.
The era we're in right now, the highlight is procedural generation.
Procedural generation and open world RPG. Like that.
Open world RPG has been like for the past 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's too much. So hopefully it starts swinging back. So hopefully. But we will eventually close it on our weekly dose of BioWare
I was just going to
ranting.
say this week's BioWare segment.
So yeah, we will finally close it on that and move on.
We should just do like a BioWare like side
might as well.
stream.
Instead of like we might at this point we would probably be actually able to do it and like not do any additional work. It literally just be like this week in BioWare. Hi Jagerberg, and just like
I have opinions. It's funny because I watch when Game of Thrones is running, I watch Geekly Inc.'s stream, and they're always like they'll go off on these rants, and then they'll be like, "I love Game of Thrones so much," and it's like that's exactly That's us with BioWare. I love BioWare games. My favorite video games were developed by BioWare.
Yeah.
Just absolute love for them, and that's why we spend about half an hour every week
time.
just completely being like, and I try to not be a cynical person just in life.
That's true, though.
It's the only time where I'm like, oh, it's because I know what you're capable of.
young grasshopper.
I see your potential.
But we will move on, and we will go on to a game that we're both extremely excited for. There has been an announcement which we think is going to be huge. The people who gave us Cities Skyline have announced a Jurassic World Evolution theme park game.
Oh,
before I misspoke, is it Cities Skyline or the people that gave us
Roller Coaster Tycoon?
No, not Roller Coaster Tycoon. Planet Coaster.
Oh, Planet Coaster.
Yeah.
One of them.
Either way, yeah.
These are all good names.
But yeah, we're gonna get a Jurassic World Evolution theme park game.
I am so jazzed. I am so jazzed for this.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game that I'm 100% truly and utterly hyped for. There's a portion of my life. Some people out there might be too young to remember this, but back when like Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 was out, there was a
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Exactly. There was a game that would be like on like the, like there's top shelf liquor. Well, it's like on the bottom shelf PC games. You know what I mean? Like the games that are like no one ever hears of. This is back when there's no such thing as digital downloads.
When you go to Walmart and you have the Diablo box and the Warcraft box and then like the Nancy Drew games.
Yeah, like literally like the very end of the aisle, dust covered, like 5 for a nickel kind of things.
These have always been here. I've never seen any one of these get
No one
sold.
ever buys them. But like there was a game in that section at one time which was a dinosaur park management game. I don't know if it actually had Jurassic Park onto it, but it was a game that you did the same thing. You started out with a blank piece of land, and then you slowly built up a park. You got more money, you built up more dinosaurs. More money, more dinosaurs. One of the things that this game had was you flew around in a helicopter. Like if a dinosaur got sick or if a dinosaur got loose, you actually physically had to fly around in a helicopter and take care of it yourself. It was an amazing game. I love this game. I put hundreds of hours into this game. And it was one of those games where after a while, if you got bored, you just be like, quick save, delete the T-Rex pen. Oh my god, they're getting out. Oh my god, no,
how could
stop
this have happened?
Oh my god, no, stop it, Fluffy. No, you're eating that guy. But
Life has indeed found a way.
So I am super, super jazzed for this. All we have so far is an announcement trailer, but still, I cannot
Just
wait
proof
for
of
this
concept
game.
is enough for
this
me.
game is going to be great. If they just are careful with it, this will be an amazing game. Like
they're going to have to work really hard to screw it up.
Yeah, that's the thing.
All you have to do is reskin your average
with
theme
dinosaur
park sim game.
Yeah, because I mean, it's really the only thing you have to do, because that's the glory about a Jurassic World game. All you have to do, I guess, you know what? That being said, like I was going to say, like the difference here would be like in a roller coaster game or a theme park game, you could actually sit there for a while creatively and design a ride, design a roller coaster.
Yep.
In a Jurassic Park game, all you do is design the size of the pen. Like, that's it. But I guess realistically, though, as I was having that thought, you could technically, like, let's say, you could design a water pen around a land pen. You could design
and also
an aerial pen.
combine the two things you're saying. You're building maybe not roller coasters, but things on tracks to showcase.
Yeah, you can do a monorail of a thing.
Yeah,
but I'm sitting there going,
or those balls they had in Jurassic World.
Oh god,
like,
yeah.
I think I saw
got
those
the
in the
kids
trailer.
eating.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
but that's the whole thing. Is like they've got two cool things going on here. One is just the base concept, which is a Jurassic Park
management game.
How has that not existed until now? It must have been.
It seems
made.
weird. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
there was this game back in like the early 2000s, late 90s. I mean, there was a
but
game.
like, was there just like a stranglehold on the license or something? Like that seems so.
Yeah,
Jurassic.
I don't know why
as soon as
so
I saw
long.
a Jurassic Park management game, I was like, well, that's obvious. Like,
yeah.
I can't believe it's
Why hasn't this been
2017
done?
until I'm hearing of this. But we haven't done our research, and maybe there was when that was made. The other thing that they're doing here is they have potential either for a custom-made narrative or make your own narrative, where it is, oh no, the T-Rex just has a random chance to break the wall of his pen or something. You know, you can build all you want, but there's probably, maybe there'll be like a little checkbox option like in SimCity where it's like enable disasters. Like,
it's basically the same thing.
All of a sudden something has gotten loose and it's eating half of the people in the park.
Yeah. I mean, the game I was telling you about, that's what it was. Like, there could be a chance where, regardless of how well you made the pens, maybe a thunderstorm comes through, lightning bolt hits a wall,
right?
The T-Rex goes, like, it has like a rage fit or something and it just bashes into a gate.
You have to make sure to keep everything, like, reinforced or
you have to like hire security guards.
Yeah,
like you have to hire like a dinosaur patrol or something stupid. But yeah.
Oh, I don't have enough funding. Well, I'll put my funding in towards the food management.
Exactly.
Because, you know, and all of a sudden, yeah, we need better hot dog stalls.
I mean, I could see like this game kind of going the way of Planet Coaster, where it literally is just the campaign mode is just you beat one map, you go into a harder map and a harder map and a harder map, like. Oh, this is a desert map. We want you to make a water theme park. Son of a bitch. Like that kind of thing. I mean,
that's your typical Roller Coaster Tycoon campaign.
They give you obstacles. You need to like manage your way out of those obstacles. Kind of.
I loved the last one that I really played was Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. I'd probably love Planet Coaster. I haven't picked it up, but it looks like it's
been on my wish list for so long.
Yeah, it looks like it's the same kind of deal. But those games are always really fun. I love sinking into them, especially over the course of like one long night. Like you start from nothing or really simple, and then you just spend like 5 or 6 real life hours.
Just digging into a park,
shaping this perfect park.
And then it's like only a quarter of the way done.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time. It's like, thank God I designed one hot dog box.
That's great. They won't be hungry anymore. I have to go to the bathroom.
Son of a... No, okay.
Pee on the sidewalk. No, I'm so excited for this. This is like...
Super part. Check it out. We'll be in our show notes. Like everything else we talk about, it will be in the show notes. Go check it out. We want to hear your reactions as well. Quick little announcement. Final Fantasy 15 is coming to PC. For all those who don't own a PlayStation and want to play Final Fantasy 15, congrats. It's coming to PC. Is this going to be completely modded over? Or direct patch, kind of direct mod right over. So, congrats.
I know a lot of people liked Final Fantasy 15 enough.
Keyword.
Enough. That was released earlier this year, right? Or
Correct.
Was it
Yeah,
it was earlier this year. Because the 2 games that people were talking about at that time were that and Breath of the Wild. So
correct. Yeah, I think this year. I think people actually liked the Final Fantasy 15 mini movies more than they liked the game.
Yeah.
But
well, there were like little things like I remember the food in it is like really well rendered and stuff like that.
Yeah, because that's what I play video games for, to stare at the well rendered food.
I'm gonna let the statement stand, you know. It's like, boy, I loved Final Fantasy 15's matzo balls, you know. It's like,
I think I actually do remember that now that you're mentioning it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, just a quick little announcement: it is coming to PC.
Yeah.
Watch out for it. It will eventually be here. I don't know if it's actually next year.
Bring the Yakuza games to PC.
Yeah, so it'll be coming out in 2018 at some time. So keep an eye out for it if you want to play Final Fantasy 15 on PC. Sims 4 now has cats and dogs.
It's coming! Ah! Yes!
Tommy might be interested in this game.
Yes! Oh my god, it's coming this November, which was, as predicted, out on the internet. Not that that matters, but cats and dogs, including raccoons. So I am...
Including raccoons?
I don't know. I might have been a fever dream I had. But yeah, Sims, wow, wee woo, indeed. Ocean Floor, wee woo, indeed. freaking deed. Yeah. So I'm so excited for this. It says it in the title. It's the maybe it was Fox's. I don't know. I can't remember it. I was so excited. I just got excited. It's not horses. It's not pets. It's cats and dogs. Which is interesting. But hey, I'll take it. I love me. My cats and dogs are cool too. They're cool dudes.
So what actually
Sims,
comes in the expansion?
Cats and dogs. Also a new something Bay. Brindle Bay or Boardwalk Bay, something. But a new map, a new
November 10th,
place.
2017. It will be coming out. Thank you, Ocean Flora, for the assist.
Yeah. And I'm sure new outfits and things like that, because those always come with expansions. Veterinary career. I think I had too many syllables in that. Veterinary. Yeah.
Veterinary.
Veterinarian career.
I thought vegetarians only ate plants.
Okay, veganarian. You can have cats and dogs. You can make your cats and dogs look a certain way. Like you can color them and stuff. You can dress them up. There's an adorable little corgi and like a shark fin. So yeah, it's an expansion I've been dying for. I love pets in The Sims. I love it. I love it. So yeah, that's happening. That's happening November 10th, and it was really funny because Amplik Panda, who I mentioned earlier, she was with The Sims, and so when the announcement came out, she was like, "I'm so glad you finally know about this." I'm like, "You were keeping this from me."
Wait,
so,
she's with
yeah.
The Sims?
She was with The Sims, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really? Ooh.
Yes.
Interesting.
So she
Why
I'm
hasn't
like,
she been on the podcast? Amplik Panda?
Yeah, woof, me Zhao, indeed. Me freaking Zhao. I'm excited. I'm jazzed. I love The Sims. I love The Sims. This is The Sims 4, obviously, for those who might not know. This is The Sims 4, which has been out since 2014. So it only took 3 years. But when you play The Sims, like, when you play it like the way I do, it's like that's 3 arduous, long years of like, where are my cats? I want my cats. I want a village of cats. That's what I basically want to do. Is I want pose packs with pets. Oh my god, could you imagine? They're probably making them already. Oh,
Focus.
I love The Sims. The Sims. When we did our favorite games of all time cast, was that our last one?
Last one, yeah.
Ago? Yeah. The Sims. Sims is one of mine. So yeah. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like cats, and dogs too.
Wow.
So yes, Sims 4. The important thing, again, if keeping this kind of semi-serious, the important thing is it's Sims for cats and dogs. So I don't think, birds, horses, things like that. Will they do them in the future? Who knows? But right now it's cats and dogs.
I just thought of a great title for a BioWare podcast. BioWare are ya? ?
Oh boy. Scooby Dooby Doo, Bio, where are you?
Even better.
Ah! So one more quickie announcement.
Age of Empires 4 is actually a thing. It's
What?
happening. What? It's not. The last one was released back in
2003?
Yeah, a real long time ago. This is another game that back in our old high school days was a game that we were still playing, but freshman year, not like midway through, like freshman year of high school. This was still a thing.
Yeah.
That I remember, this is one of those RTSs that you could just go into Walmart and it was 24/7. It was in your face. It was just
Age of Empires and Rise of Nations. I went the Rise of Nations path, but
I did Age of Empires.
Age of Empires was really great too.
It's just a classic RTS title. It's one of those titles that back when that you just could not escape. It was just always there. I'm glad they're doing a 4th one. I personally think it's been long enough that they could just be true to the 3rd one and still have a very successful game. So I'll be interested to see what they do with it.
I'm going to put my long shot prediction out there now. This is going to be to RTSs compared to Civ what Cities Skylines was compared to SimCity. It's going to be the one where people are like, this is what I've been looking for.
I'm hoping because I've been dying for a good AAA RTS. Like
I'm
for a
willing to
while.
bet that's what's going to happen. Just a
I miss
random.
RTSs.
I'm going off of no information whatsoever, but I bet you that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean RTS is kind of like it's weird because RTSs was the PC game. Like 90% of PC games at one time were just nothing but RTSs. Now it's kind of like
I thought of PC gaming, that was exactly
RTSs.
it.
Every single PC game I owned at one time was an RTS, which is why people are like, "You like RTSs? You're such a queer." Like, oh my god, like it's just like.
RTS, by the way, is real-time strategy games.
Sorry for all those people, yeah.
Just in case, because I know we throw acronyms around like crazy on here.
But yeah, I always loved those games, and I still love those games, and I'm glad that they're finally coming back, especially like in force with this, because this was one of the big ones. Age of Empires, like you said, Rise of Nations.
Command and Conquer?
Command and Conquer,
that's an RTS, right?
Those are RTSs. Oh my god, there was another medieval one it wasn't Total War, but it was...
yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, Warcraft, StarCraft, all of them. I mean, there's a bunch of different ones. I basically had all of them, so it's great. I'm glad they're coming back. It's kind of like a lost art nowadays. Not too many people still do RTSs, so I'm glad.
There's a demo for Civ 6, and I would love to just take the time to play it and just try it. But I liked Civ 5. I liked it a lot, but it's not a game that's had super holding power with me. Like I've said this before. I'll just randomly pick a Saturday and say, I'm going to download the Game of Thrones mod for Civ 5 and play play it. It's not like anything that you have a story. You play until you've hit a kind of an end point, Civ 5 has some great mods to it. I guess Civ 6 has done well. I think it's done okay, but it's one of those things where it's like people are like, I want Civ 4 still, 5 wasn't it, and 6 wasn't it, I want 4, so I don't know.
Command and Conquer. I'm looking this up because it's kind of annoying me now. But
classic real-time strategy
Age of Empires we already have, but we can keep going. I'll look at it on the side. But so that will be it. Another thing, so. We're already exhausted our 2 hours. Do we want to do the rest of this, or how do we want to do this?
Oh, yeah, we can go through these really quickly.
Okay. Star Citizen stuff. Star Citizen is a thing that's still happening that we actually haven't covered for a while. Star Citizen was showing off its new planetary landings update at Gamescom. Because Star Citizen, aren't they based over in Germany or Russia or something like that? I forget. They're somewhere over there. But they always have a huge booth at Gamescom, and this year they... had another huge 3-hour-long presentation.
Yeah, they've been there in force.
Tom, take it away.
Oh, yes. Star Citizen continues to be just silent. Well, not so silently, but continues to be toiling away and adding stuff in anticipation of their imminent, I think it's the 3.0 update, which is going to have big planetary landing stuff, as it says. They've released some really cool... just looks at the game's tech. One of the biggest spotlights it has been on face tracking. And this is really cool. This is not a new technology per se, but what it's doing is it'll take, using a webcam, just a consumer level webcam, you don't need extra software, it will track almost like mocap points on your face and translate it to your character, which is something I've always wanted. I want the MMO where I play it and it's just my face doing the expressions in there, and it's translating it not like what is it, LA Noire, where it's basically like almost a film of the character.
Which is interesting.
It's going on to the character's specific points, and they have it with the guy that plays Davos in Game of Thrones. So the guy who's doing the video he's talking and emoting and things like that, and the Davos character is also doing the same emotes. I'm trying to show this on the video here. It's not translating very well, but you get the point. It's not perfect. Of course, it's not going to be perfect, but it's neat that they're doing something like that. And obviously it's not essential. So it's just like, oh, because this exists, you can do it. That's cool. The other side of face tracking that they're doing, which has definitely existed, I've experimented with it before, is head tracking, as in from your first person perspective. When you move your head in real life, your character moves his head on the screen. So it shows him in the cockpit of the ship, and you turn your head a little to the left and your character looks. The screen moves like you were moving your mouse or the analog stick of your controller to the left. I have done this in Euro Truck Simulator, in GTA 5, in Minecraft. It's cool, but it's always so sensitive, especially if you're going to play something like a shooter. Your head doesn't stay still. Your head doesn't. You can have a dead zone, but there's the two problems is it doesn't stay still, so you're always wobbling a little bit, especially if you're trying to aim at somebody. Like, good luck. The other problem is, like, when you turn your head, that's all well and good, but your eyes still, in real life, still have to look at the computer screen or the TV. So
unless
you can
have
say,
a VR.
Unless you have a VR headset.
Yeah.
So you could say, like, all right, say we're playing Star Citizen, and you're sitting in the seat to my left. If I want to look at you in game, that's all well and good, but now I'm not looking at my screen. I'm looking at my bedroom. Like, and it's like on the screen, the head turns. So it's always such a weird gray area. You can turn a little bit and have it turn a lot on the screen. It's never something that I felt comfortable with. So I think, yeah, the answer to that kind of thing is definitely having a VR headset, because then you can turn and the screen is attached to your eyeballs, so you're still looking at it. You can't escape the screen. The screen is you now.
God.
But I like the moving the character's face with your face in real life. I think that's kind of cool. I like the idea. It doesn't work as well with subtlety, like when the guy's just talking, but when he starts doing all these like really dramatic expressions, it looks really cool to see the guy's like jaw. Like when he moves, it does do how in real life your face wrinkles up. You know, I apologize to our audio listeners. I'm doing a lot of gesturing,
a lot of miming,
but yeah, a lot of miming. But you know, it does that on the faces in the characters. It looks like actual skin on bone, which is cool, and not a sentence I thought I'd ever say. Yeah. But no, Star Citizen is a game that we both own. You own?
No,
Do you
not
own?
yet. Still not.
It's a game that I own.
I want to own it eventually.
Yeah,
one of these days.
I enjoy popping into it whenever there's a big update.
Especially whenever they do free events, we always usually do it.
Yeah. I just ultimately, there was a point, like last year, I think it was, where I just said, I'm just going to buy this. I like enough of this game as it is right now that I'm willing to spend, $60 on it.
It was the very first beta ever. The very first beta we played.
Yeah, that was it.
It was one of the very first opening things we did at Addicted to Loot.
That's right. It was on our first, if not second,
it was like
third,
first
fourth,
couple
fifth,
episodes.
and sixth episodes.
Yeah, we had a big Star Citizen episode, but yeah, it was one of the very first betas we ever covered.
So for the people who may continue to say, is Star Citizen like a thing? Yeah,
it's still a thing. It's always going to be a thing. It's going to be one of those things by 50 years from now. It's like, oh, they're going to do the Star Citizen patch. The annual Star Citizen patch.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm glad that they're just treating it as a perpetual early access game, because then they're able to say, yeah, let's add something else. Cool.
Yeah, it works well. I do think it's a game that, it's a special subset of audience, but I still think it's a really good game. So I'm still looking forward to watching the entire 3-hour presentation and the 45 minutes of additional planetary landing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's coming up. But as always, Star Citizen is an amazing game. What they're doing, it is very groundbreaking, but it's only groundbreaking in the sense of it's probably going to happen once, because there's not going to be another resource dump of this scale probably ever again. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. So a little news thing that kind of bubbled up this week. It's really funny. It was about 3:00 in the morning. I was just scrolling through Twitter, and I just saw randomly, it says, Half-Life 3 or Half-Life writer reveals the plot line for what would have been Half-Life 2 Episode 3. And I thought, well, these things show up all the time. It's going to be fake. And I started looking at it, just kind of looking at the conversations around it. I thought, this looks real. This looks actually pretty legit. Like, it's not going to get made. But it was a doc basically presented as a diary entry. Detailing, it had all like names swapped and things like that, but it was detailing what would have been the events of the last expansion, DLC, whatever you want to call it, the last episode of Half-Life 2, which, obviously, famously, everyone says, Half-Life 3, when's that coming? But Half-Life 2 was doing these episode packs, Episode 1 and Episode 2, Episode 2 ending on a massive cliffhanger, justifying why people have been like, when is this game going to, get more, So having it presented as Half-Life 2 Episode 3 makes it a little bit easier rather than saying it's Half-Life 3. It's like, oh, here's how this story, the Half-Life 2 episodes, would have concluded.
Yeah.
It seems legit. It's from one of the writers on the game, and I just was like, is this real? I think this is real. Yeah. It's not that it does anything, but it provides a degree of... It almost feels like fan fiction.
Yeah, it's almost, I think it's a lot of those sense. We were talking about this before. We think it's a lot of someone at Valve just said, please, for the love of God, give them something so they can shut up.
Yeah, we theorized that literally Valve was like, hey, can you just like make something up?
And just leak it, please.
And leak it, quote, quote. So.
Because it's actually funny. There's actually was this other little news piece that people have been giving Dota 2 horrific reviews because Valve has not made a Half-Life 3. Like,
that's stupid.
They are leaving reviews on Dota saying, I'm leaving Dota a negative review because it's pulling time and effort away from Valve to make Half-Life 3. Like, literally, there's a stream of reviews that are just that.
That's stupid and dumb. Review bombing worked for, what was it, Grand Theft Auto recently? There was something. Oh my God, I can't remember. But, it was GTA 5.
Yeah, it had to be GTA 5.
And they absolutely worked. Rockstar was like, holy shit, we goofed, and they took back what they did. But don't waste that ability on something stupid like that. I have a strong opinion about that. I think that this is like, there is a power in review bombing. It's not good, but it works. If you want to get the attention.
I don't know if there's enough to be a bomb. They're just saying like, oh, there's a trend that people are leaving.
It's one thing if you're trashing GTA 5 because you have an ethical problem with something that GTA maybe did, but if you're trashing Dota because Half-Life doesn't exist, that's
it's
apples and oranges.
It's kind of it's people being petty. It is what it is.
No, that's dumb, and that's dumb that's a thing.
And we will finally conclude our massive mega episode of news with XCOM 2, War of the Chosen is a big expansion that actually is finally released as of the 29th.
$30. I mean, this is big,
I wouldn't even say, I don't know if it's an update or an expansion. I don't.
It's like what was it? Because XCOM Enemy Within.
Yeah, it's hard to say it's an expansion because it's really just an add-on to the standard game. So I really think
it's an expansion.
Maybe that's the best way of putting it. But anyway. War of the Chosen, what it does, War of the Chosen gives a lot of quality of life updates, but also adds an extra layer to the main story. It's basically the main story with an additional plot line, with additional features. So, like, some of the new features are, there's actually 3 other rebel groups now that you can work with and get soldiers from. That's one of the ones. The actual Chosen, which are the heart of the War of the Chosen, are 3 sons and daughters of the actual elders of the
aliens,
the alien race. I'm blanking on the name of what the hell the alien race is, but the elders of the alien race. So these people are actual soldiers of, actually sons and daughters
Vortigaunts? No. What is it?
Of the elders. So it actually adds on that. It actually adds on a whole extra layer of lore on top of it from the perspective of your character, of the characters of Earth, of everything else. There's some quality of life stuff, meaning like now you can do waypoint movement as opposed to just saying go there and the character chooses a path. You can now say go here first, then here, and then there at a final destination kind of things. There's a few other things, different types of research opportunities, different types of events that trigger. But overall, it's a pretty large expansion.
Oh yeah,
very large expansion.
This is immense.
And a lot of very positive feedback and reviews from the community. Like, people are actually seriously loving this expansion.
I was reading one of the reviews. I believe it was Rock Paper Shotgun, where they were saying how they're like they went in initially worried that because it adds so much already, XCOM 2 is like a juggling, like multitasker's nightmare. Because it's like you have to choose between A, B, or C at all times. Like, that's the XCOM 2 meta game, is you always are like, you could do this, but you could do that, but
they added aliens.
Okay. Yeah. And this adds more to it, but then they were saying actually the game is better because of it. It gives you more. It's less one of the big problems with XCOM 2 is that you are whipping across the planet. Like, okay, go here and stay here for so many days to get this resource. Oh no, this area is under attack. Or you could do this. Or you could stay here and get the resources, but your basically your doomsday clock is going to go up. So it's like this gives you more miniature things to take care of to keep that doomsday clock down, things like that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I'm a huge fan of XCOM 2. I'm absolutely going to get this eventually.
It's a definite eventually.
This is a definite
one of these days
2019 Game of the Year contender. Like, I guarantee if we're still doing Addicted to Loot, like 2-3 years from now, you're going to hear me talking about this and say, this is so good. It could breathe new life into XCOM 2, a game that I'm willing to replay game.
Mass Effect
happily.
Com 2.
Mass Effect XCOM 2. Yeah. I modded XCOM to be very much a Mass Effect game. Probably a better one than Andromeda. I would happily play XCOM 2 base game as it is. I do have the Long War mod installed. I haven't played any of that yet. There's a co-op mod. We haven't even played with that.
We tried. We tried.
We gave it a solid effort.
A couple of days worth of effort just did not work.
But to have this kind of expansion pack is just like, this is par for the course for Firaxis. They've done this before. It's great. I love them for it. Mwah. Thank you, Firaxis.
Yes, definitely.
So that's our news.
Woo! 2 hours.
For like a month.
Yeah. Woo! If we have any news next week, I'm going to be surprised.
I know.
So it's
gonna be us talking about Destiny.
We're gonna go into our playlist for this week. And I want to start out by saying I've actually been keeping the Addicted to Loot YouTube page very active the past couple weeks, especially before I left, and now even since I come back. There's actually been a whole new string of activity for posting YouTube videos. And all the games that I'm going to put in my playlist, both this week and in previous episodes and probably in future episodes, will have at least one, if not more, videos on the YouTube page. So please go check them out.
They're great. They're great, really.
Yeah, so we are getting growing reviews, growing our activity, and hopefully that translates in the new YouTube system, the new YouTube search engine. Hopefully we actually start getting more pulls.
Thank you for subscribers and
yes,
such.
For anyone who actually listens to the podcast and also subscribes to our YouTube channel, big thank you. The fact, like, these are the days where when a video gets more than like 10 watches, I'm like, woo!
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just really hard in the current YouTube meta to get actual search results, especially because the smaller you are, the less likely you are to get searches and stuff like that. So thank you all for those for checking it out, and please, if you're listening to this, go check them out and join me for them. And please, if anything, give me feedback. I love getting feedback, both good, bad, or constructive. Whatever you want, we'll be more than happy to do it. So with that, going into it, my first game on my playlist was, and all these, I should say, are all games that I got press copies for, so, which is incredible. So very first one is Blood Bowl 2, the Legendary Edition. So, what Blood Bowl is a matchup of Warhammer Fantasy Universe, football, and a crap ton of violence. So, if you think like Blitz football, for all those who remember Blitz, the old classical arcade football games, it's similar to that. It's a turn-based sports game set in the Warhammer universe, where you actually spend, 2 8-turn halves trying to score as many touchdowns as you can. It's a very fun game, but it's a very frustrating game. It's a game where you love to hate it because it's a game that's filled with nothing but RNGesus, pitfalls, and everything else like that, where you'll have an 80% chance to make a play and you still don't make it. That kind of thing. It's kind of similar to XCOM or Mordheim, anything else like that. If you've ever played those types of RNG, meaning random number generating games where a random number determines whether or not you actually succeed with the strategy you're putting out. It does come with a campaign, which is interesting, but the main part of the Legendary Edition, which is what the beta that we are playing with, or I was playing with, is that it's the original base game with all the expansions and a few additional expansions, which mainly are race expansions. So there is a ton of races, including in Blood Bowl, all which have different pros and cons. If you are familiar with the Warhammer universe, there's every race and more involved with Blood Bowl. I mean, they're lizardmen, elf, dwarf, undead, chaos, halfling, so on and so on and so on and so on. All of which have pros and cons. Some are quicker than others, some are tougher than others, some can throw the ball, some can't. It's a really cool little game. It's a game that when I first started playing it, I'm kind of like, I don't know about this. And after I played... actually, I shouldn't say that. When I started playing the campaign itself was kind of okay. It's kind of like a campaign on rails where you play the humans, and you take a really horrible team up through like the championship kind of thing, which is all right, I guess. Not really. I wouldn't say not. It's not where the game shines. I didn't really start enjoying this game until actually I created a random team of a certain race and just started doing like random friendly matches with it, just to figure out what the hell this game is, figure out what the races are like. That's when this game actually starts to shine. The fact that all these different races make up very different teams and they all function very differently. I was a lizard man, which are giant like lizard creatures who were getting their asses handed to them by a bunch of halflings, which was just hilarious to watch. So I made like an hour-long video on it. That's how long it took to play one match, just about. So go check it out. It is funny. It's hilarious. I would say it's a game for people who like RNG-driven strategy games. It's fun for that. It is definitely fun for that, and plus it's the type of entertainment you get when you go, I have a 99% chance of making this, and you still fail. Like,
so XCOM.
Basically, yeah. That's what I actually said that earlier on when you were away.
I mean, I was here this whole time. Yeah, I'm sorry, I must have just zoned out.
But yeah, it's the type of game where like you love to.
We need scheduled bathroom breaks.
Well, we used to have that back before we just did live.
Yeah.
But anyway, we digress. So it's a good game. It's a fun game. You should definitely check it out. The Legendary Edition is still on beta right now, but Blood Bowl 2 base game is out. It is available. It's a fully launched game. So, hey, go check it out.
Brindleton Bay is the Sims map.
Oh, I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Sorry, the other BB, Blood Bowl, Brindleton Bay.
Right, okay. But yeah, go check it out. I'd say if you like turn-based strategy, if you like RNG games, and if you like the Warhammer universe, go check out Blood Bowl. It is a hoot. The other game, or my last game that I'm going to talk about, is how do I describe it? It's a lighthearted arena FPS shooter called Offensive Combat Redux, with an exclamation point. It's a game that it's designed to be like a pop-in, pop-out arena brawler FPS, kind of like, nothing but deathmatch, kind of Quakey type of game. But it's supposed to be a little bit more lighthearted. It's supposed to like wear its humor on its sleeve. It's supposed to be like, haha, you can pwn people. Hey, yeah, oh my god, we're self-aware, we're cool. And like, you just hit a dick shot, yeah. Like, literally, it's like
balls. Like
you can shoot someone in the head, like headshot. You hit someone in between the legs, and it's like cock shot. Like that's exactly what this game is like. I played it for like 10-15 minutes just to show off the video. I do not recommend it for the $20 price tag or whatever the price tag is. This is a game that, if it was less than $10, maybe. But a game like this is completely driven by the amount of community there is, because you're not going to play a multiplayer game when there's no people to play it with. I just don't see that many people playing this game at its current price tag with what it offers. I just don't see it. So I don't recommend it. It's a very vanilla arena shooter. Like, I
was gonna say, it actually looks, even though despite the offensive part of it, it looks like something you'd find on Facebook. I don't mean that as an insult, but like
it's a very standard game. If you could think,
right,
what is an arena shooter like? That's this game. 1,000%.
Yeah.
No better, no worse. There's all different types of guns. There's power-ups. There's open maps. It's quick. It's quick moving. It's the exact same thing. The map variation, the difference between all the maps is kind of cool. I do like the different maps. That's probably the only shining grace for this game. But yeah, do not recommend it. Unless it was like a $5 game, I do not recommend it. So
yeah, that's interesting. I don't know what it is, but it looks so much like a game that I'd see in Facebook games.
Yeah, check it out if you want. But yeah, not at the current price tag. And with that, we will go over to tonality.
Well, I have on my playlist Overwatch, which obviously I did talk about and enjoyed and played a lot of. It's really great. It's a really good game. the other thing, one of the other things that I played was Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms. And I'm going on a limb. Hi, Brian's dog. I'm going on a limb talking about this because I don't think that there's an NDA on it. I hope there isn't. I apologize if there is. So Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a clicker, like idle clicker game, which is the genre of games where it's just typically you just are clicking until you get enough to get these clicks automated to make numbers go up. Crush is one of those. Cookie Clicker, things like that. But what this one is using Forgotten Realms characters and properties and locations, which is interesting. It's cool, I guess. I'm a big fan of Forgotten Realms. I like the Forgotten Realms universe, but it's so weird that they would. This seems like such a how you're talking about that last game, Brian, and it's like, oh, that's that seems like a Facebook game. This is like a mobile game where it's like, hey, let's take this franchise. Can we make one of those? What do the kids call them? A click-a game? Let's make one of those. It's I don't know even how to describe it. The characters are marching forward on a quest, and you have to take down X amount of enemy that's coming towards you, or loot X amount of things. What I do like is there's some strategy involved as you unlock characters. You can place them in form, different shapes. What's formation? That's the word I'm looking for. So this character will do better if they're placed in front of these types of characters. But this type of character does better if they're surrounded on all sides by this type of character. So that's kind of cool, and that adds an actual element of thinking and strategizing. But besides that, there's not a lot of thinking. Granted, that's what the type of game is. The idle clicker game is not a game where you think. You're just watching numbers go up and getting off on that, which I do. I like clicker games. I love Crush. I'm still playing that. I'm still leveling up my anime ladies. But what Crush has is personality. Crush has this real quirky, very offbeat sense of personality and humor in it. Even whether it's an outright joke that one of the characters will say, or just a meta joke, like there's one character where it's like, okay, you give her this one really cheap gift, and then the next tier you give her this other really cheap gift, and then the next tier she wants 5,000 of the most expensive thing, and it's just like a little joke of like, well, I didn't see that coming. That's okay. I guess I'm gonna have to work towards that now. Or that there is a character named Beverly. That's a bear. It's got a sense of humor. This is, I guess, the Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms is relying solely on the property to be its selling point, because there's just not a lot in the game that's making me say, oh, I want to play it because it's the game that does that. You're playing it because, oh, hopefully I get drizzed as a character. That's, I don't know, Brian. You've played a little bit of it, a very little bit.
Or Idle Champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those games where I downloaded it. It looked kind of cool. I played it for about maybe 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Instantly uninstalled it because it's just like, I don't know what it is. There was one point in time where like I couldn't get enough of mobile games. Now it's gotten to the point where every mobile game I download is kind of like, delete. Like I've yet to really find a decent mobile game.
Did you play this on mobile?
Yeah, my cell phone.
Oh, I didn't know that because I played it on Steam.
I played it's just like an Idle. I think it was called Idle Champions, but it was just the cell phone edition, the actual mobile edition, whatever it was.
Okay, yeah.
It literally was just like, thank you for joining this. You can have a party. Click this button. Yay! You click the button. Woo!
Yeah, that's
the entire thing. It's just like, oh, so literally this is a game where if I had no brain, I could still function with this. Yep.
Yeah, and maybe if I didn't have Crush, I'd be having a good time with this because I do like, again, clicker games. I like leveling up. There is something that's just like, well, this is a fun thing that I check in on, right? It's almost like having an aquarium. You just check in and you feed the fish. You make sure your characters are at their absolute peak. As you progress through this game, I'm remembering more of it now that I'm talking about it. As you progress through this game, you get gold or experience, and those go towards however you allocate them. So say you've got a character and you upgrade them to a certain level, now they have a skill that's like maybe if you put him at the front, he defends more, or this character has better attack, or this character now has a special ability that you can fire off on a cooldown. And it's just not really anything too exciting, even for that genre. Within the boundaries of that genre, it's not really too exciting. I keep thinking I'll go back into it, and I haven't. I've played 45 minutes of it in one go, and that was it. So I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out again. I don't see my opinion changing too much on it, but having it be a Forgotten Realms game isn't really enough for me. Mm-hmm. And the last thing that I played, which is kind of like what your experience was, I played Brink, which finally went free. Brink is a game some people might remember from 2011, 12, earlier this decade. I kept seeing it because it had this striking cover. It's this very blue, sky blue, cyan blue color with a stylized guy shooting on the front of it. It's Brink. And I just always was like, I like that cover. That's an aesthetically pleasing cover. That speaks to me. I don't know anything about this game, but it looks cool. And then when they said, oh, it's now free to play, I looked it up. Turns out it's Arcane. So it's got the kind of Dishonored aesthetic of like really detailed but exaggerated faces. I love that. I love that look that Dishonored has, where it's like characters have pores and wrinkles and stubble, but their faces are like really long and squished and distorted. It's like grotesque. It's so cool. I absolutely love that style.
But they do it in a way where it looks like it's normal for the world.
It's normal for the world, and it's like as HD as possible.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The bone structure shouldn't make sense. It's like, oh my god, how do you function? And the proportions are weird and stuff. So it's really cool. But what the game is at its core is it wants to be a multiplayer versus AI objective kind of game. So it's like if you were playing Overwatch, but only your team were the team of random players, real players, and then you were playing against waves of AI. But like AI as a team. You could do other teams too. It's like objective stuff. As a solo game, which is how I tried it, which was just me, team of AI guys, team of enemy AI guys. Not great.
No.
Not really great. I don't know if it would be great if like you and I played on a team. Maybe it's good as a full-out multiplayer where it's like they've got their objective, you've got your objective. There's some cool stuff that it's doing. I like the character roles where you can pick your class at any time, and it's like you've got your soldier class, which is the guy with the guns, but then you have your operative class, which is the hacker man, dude, hacker bro.
Yeah.
And then you'll have like an engineer, and he can build turrets. He's turret man, and it's archetypes that but and it's got this cool like objective system where you have an actual wheel, keeping in tradition with Arcane stuff of having a wheel menu. You've got a wheel where it's like you've got a main objective, but then depending on your class, you might have an objective. So it'll be like, hey, as an operative, you can go over and hack this thing, and that'll get your team more med kits or something like that. But only operatives can do that. And when you select that, that becomes what highlights on your screen. That's really cool. So it's like, you don't get the clutter of like main objective over here, health pack over here, this over here, this over here. It's like, what do you want to do? Well, okay, I'll take that where I'll hack the thing. Boom. Points you exactly where you need to go. Even like moves your camera, like go there. So it's cool. Not really for me, or at least not at this point. In my life, as in, not that the game's going to change, but I'm not looking for another multiplayer shooter right now. I think it's good. It's great for a free game. It wasn't free. If people are into that sort of thing, go for it. It wants teamwork, wants you to be playing with your team. So
screw those guys.
Yeah. So maybe people who enjoy Overwatch and are looking for something similar but a little bit different, this definitely does it. It doesn't have a story does not have anything that's going to drag you in. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping there was going to be like at least a narrative or a campaign or something. It's not. It's like the first Titanfall was, which is just loosely connected multiplayer matches. It's like, okay, here's this scenario. That's it. Go. You know, that's your cutscene to it. Here, we need you to escort this guy to get him to the chopper. Go. Okay. Cosmetic stuff is kind of cool. I like the fact that if you get to a point where you can select different body types for your character, so he's either medium, slender, or like jacked, and depending on which one you choose, your speed changes.
Oh, that's cool.
I think that kind of stuff is cool. So it's like if you're the big jacked guy, obviously you've got a much higher health bar and can, you know, do more muscly stuff, but you move slower. So that's kind of neat. Overwatch kind of does that with the character. Not that, you know, you select your character's body type, but obviously Tracer's faster than Roadhog, right? So, but that's Brink. It's all right. Go try it. I find it hard to recommend unless you're into it, to that sort of thing. If that's your jam, go jam it.
Go jam it.
Holy crap! It's time
for the what?
For Gatua. It's the game of the week on Addicted to Loot every week, except for the past 2 weeks because we weren't here. So it is time. It's that time of the episode where we give away a free game, or at least shine the spotlight on something
on a
that's
free game that you should definitely go play.
And you should definitely go play this. This week's Fugatua is has a weird name. It's called Micropolis JS. That's Micropolis JS.
Just kidding.
And I spelled it wrong in the doc. Oh well. Micropolis JS is literally SimCity, the original SimCity in your browser. That's it. What more could you want? It is the original OG SimCity. Playable right now. You can just open up a window and go play it.
Completely browser-based.
Yeah, and if you've never played SimCity, like the original SimCity, my guy, just go do it. This is the
all you youngins out there, you owe it to yourself.
And send me screenshots of your ridiculous cities, because I'm sure they'll be better than mine.
Here's the real question: do the cheats work in this one?
I don't know. I turned disasters off because I didn't trust anything. You could have Godzilla.
Do you remember the old Infinite Money cheat? Oh my god!
It was like Motherload, but it's not.
Oh my
SimCity
god!
cheats.
I completely forget the old one because it was like send funds now or something weird.
It was
like
absolutely something like that.
Yeah, it was. I forget. I just remember whenever I played SimCity, I try to play it like
fund.
Send funds, yeah.
Fund, holding shift and typing fund, but if you did it so many times in a row, it would give you an earthquake.
Or something. Yeah, that's what it was.
It would cause, if you did it like 10 times in a row or something like that, it would cause an earthquake.
Yeah, I just remember doing it like normally, and after a while, I'd just be like, screw this. I do infinite amount of money, and then just basically just give myself something amazing. But yeah, you should definitely go. You owe it to yourself if you want to see like where we've come. Like if you play City Skylines, go play this because you need to see where all this came from. Damn it!
All that you need to worry about is that goddamn pollution. Like,
oh god,
I'm gonna put a house here. Oh, I'm gonna put. They want industry. Okay, I'll put an industrial zone here. Everyone's unhappy. Why is everyone so unhappy? There's smoke in the air. So yeah, just build parks everywhere. But it's really great. I have a very, very, very big soft spot in my heart for the original SimCity.
No,
I got that at a Scholastic book fair in school.
Do they even have book fairs anymore?
I think so. I hope so.
I remember
going to Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 from a school book fair.
I remember going to book fairs just to buy like the eraser that was shaped like a dog.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like what else are you going to buy?
Things like the sticky hands that you would.
Oh yes, that would last all of like 3 seconds.
Yeah, then it gets dust on it. And it's like doesn't stick to anything anymore. Yeah, school book fairs are great. Like they had some.
Oh my
video
god, yeah, because I remember in high school, like Josh or Luke or somebody bought one of those damn things in like history class would smack people in the face with it. Yeah,
those little blue hands. Those are.
I miss those things.
Yeah,
those book
fairs.
Much fun.
Book fairs are single-handedly responsible, again, for SimCity, which had like a bunch of demos and stuff. I think SimCity 2000 had a demo on there. And Roller Coaster Tycoon 3.
Good
Great.
old times.
Math Blaster. Old Math Blaster games. Those are great.
Good times, good times. But you know what really is a good time? Going to
Ending the episode.
addictedelude.com, where you can find everything from this show and more, including the show notes, which has links to all of the different topics, articles, and everything else, videos that we talked about today. From there, you can get links to our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, which is where we do this live every week. If you want to come join us at our chat log. So we do this live every week, usually somewhere between Tuesdays and Wednesdays, somewhere between 7 and 8 and 9 p.m.
We basically block out some period of time between Monday and Sunday.
For like 3 hours. But if you pay attention to our Twitter, which I'll get to in a second, you will have a chance to figure out when we do this live. But you can get links to all that. You can get links to the audio-only versions of this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. You can get links to our email, which is our group email, which is addictedeloot@gmail.com, which you can use to write us for questions, recommendations, reviews, general highs, maybe a request to be on the show. We'll be happy to have you. Please let us know. You can get links to our group Twitter, which is @addicted2loot. That is the number 2. That is our Twitter handle that we use to do all show announcements, all Addicted to Loot announcements. If you want, you can also follow us individually at our individual Twitters. Mine is @ATL_Atomic0, and Tom's is @TOMALITY. That is @Tomality, where we do all sorts of fun stuff because Tom does more than just this podcast. He's actually very much a creator type person. He does.
Oh no!
He does all the things in the creative world.
I apologize.
But yes, you can go follow us and everything.
And Brian goes and gets married.
Man, apparently it's all I'm good for. But you can go follow
I was asking before we started, like, is this a thing that you're going to just do now? Like,
it's a profession. It's a side.
It's like,
it's
once
like
you're
side
bit
hobby.
by the marriage bug, like, oh man, I got to get more of this.
And you get more marriages. But no. So you can just follow us around and interact with us on a daily basis. And with all that, it has been episode 54 of the Addicted to Loot podcast after 2 weeks away. We thank you so very much for coming back and joining us again. Please join us next week for all the fun and more. And until then,
keep it till death do us part.